All doing well. Smash these likes up. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. We've got Jay and Joe who are on time, but Tarek is not on time. To be fair, he's driving off from work, so fair play to him. And Steve, who is now joined here, he was scranning his team, man, so fair play to him as well. And Bevel's got computer issues, chat. So listen, again, this ain't Sky, yeah. We're live when we're live. You know what I mean? You want to be watching something on time, put Sky Sports News on, man. But yeah, do me a favor, man. Smash these likes up if you've not done so already. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. And shout out HSK, man. This guy, Bray. Yeah, look at this number as well. 115. He says the magic number for every City fan with a huge donation. HSK, man, you're absolute legend. Real talk, yeah, you're a legend. Guys, spam the W's in the chat. This guy sent this before the stream even started. And it's a pretty funny one as well. So, yeah, big up to Real Bob. Really appreciate the super chat, the donation. And get these W's absolutely spammed out in the chat. Lads, the transfer window is closed. What are we saying? Are we buzzing? Are we saying it's shit? Are we saying it's mid? Are we buzzing? What are we saying, man? Who wants to start?
I'll jump in because I was one of the first ones to. I was one of the very vocal ones when we weren't signing Florian Wirtz to be like this is a disgrace.
I was stressed as well, bro. Don't worry, man.
There's still a little bit of me that thinks that if you're gonna get rid of a Kevin De Bruyne, you've got to, you maybe have to replace him with a Florian Wirtz. I still stand by that to some degree, but I think if you're gonna look at the amount of money that he would have cost and the sort of the idea that if it's a choice between one Florian Wirtz or an Ait-Nouri, a Cherki, a Reinders, then I think you probably it's a pretty easy decision at that point, isn't it? Really, like we've been able to bolster the midfield with not just legs but age as well. We've managed to bring in like a 20 is he 21 Cherki or 22?
He's 21, man.
21, yes, we've got a 21-year-old in. We've got someone who's like, hitting sort of the peak of the powers with Reinders, which again takes a lot of time and legs out of the legs of the unks, who hopefully might see the back of one or two of this summer if we can sort of even out the numbers a little bit. And we've actually finally signed a left back, which I think that I've been a big fan of Ait-Nouri. I can't remember, was it on this stream like a couple of months ago where we were saying like why are we not looking at him or why are we not interested in him? I'm sure there was some. I'm sure there's been some talking.
We have spoke about him in the past, like
because
I'm pretty sure Joe was slacking him off, to be honest with you.
That wouldn't shock me to fair. But I've been a big
dropped his name at some point because I've got the tweets to prove it as well.
I've been a big fan of his for since he's joined Wolves. To be honest, he's one of those players who's always looked like really sort of technical and quite tidy. And so now, obviously, like he's playing for Wolves, who are battling relegation like a lot of the time. Like they're in that sort of like that bottom half / quarter of the table, aren't they? Really, they're one of those kind of teams. So he's never going to look outstanding defensively because he's got a team around him that maybe isn't built up to be the most defensive in the world. But I think this season, particularly going forward and like what he can do on the ball has been really sort of apparent. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we need. Look, he does that thing where you can sort of, where he does the Gvardiol thing where he cuts inside from left back and sort of goes in, makes those sort of box attacking runs like Gvardiol and O'Reilly have done this season, which is just perfect for what we do and what we need. So yeah, I mean, I'm buzzing. Like, there's not a single one of the transfers that I'm unhappy with. I mean, a new third choice goalkeeper. I mean, who cares? But I mean, the other three, like they're the biggies, aren't they? They're the ones that we've been crying out for a long time. So yeah, happy.
Yeah, I'm gassed as well, man. I didn't think that would be my biggest worry was not that we wouldn't make the signings. It was whether we'd be proactive enough, like as soon as the window was open before the Club World Cup. I really wanted to get these guys in, man, and embed them into the team in this tournament, innit? And we've gone out there and we've meant business from the get-go. I thought we'd drag our feet with it like we did in January and leave them a bit late. But the fact that the clubs come out straight away and made a statement by banging all these signings out straight away. And I'm excited about them all, man. Like, I feel like this Cherki signings really flew under the radar because of all the Wirtz talk and because of how gassed up Wirtz is across the world at the moment and how much he's wanted him. But who's to say, man, that this guy can't be as good as Florian Wirtz? You know what I mean? He's not had that much of a chance yet. It's not as big of a chance yet as Wirtz has in his international team and obviously in the Champions League and stuff like that. But watching Cherki, man, he could be just as talented as Wirtz is, but he's just that kind of diamond in the rough that hasn't been discovered yet. But from what I've seen of him, man, the guy's a fucking creative mastermind.
He's a little. He needs a little bit more. I think he needs guidance, me. I think he needs. I think he needs a little bit more. Like obviously, Wirtz has been playing under Alonso, right? He's been playing at Leverkusen, and I feel like this guy, Cherki, he's obviously been at Lyon now for a few years. Like obviously, it's a little bit of an unstable football club, as most people know.
Yeah, they've been a bit of a basket case last few years, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been really tricky situation. I mean, I played the video as well on YouTube recently of like where basically all the players was getting cooked off the fans because like they were that shit. I think they were near the relegation zone. It's been really tough. And I think he's at that level now, where basically he's like he needs to make that next step. And because if you listen to what he says, if you actually listen to all the interviews that he's done recently, everything that he says is about like I feel like this guy feels disrespected. Because when everyone speaks about like the best young players, they speak about Wirtz, they speak about Musiala, they spoke about Foden, obviously not spoke about it recently, but they spoke about Foden, all these sort of players. Yeah, these other players that I've not mentioned. And Cherki either doesn't get mentioned or hasn't been previously mentioned.
I think it's
or he's always
at
the
French
bottom.
league though as well, you know. I think people disrespect League One a lot, man. And I think if players come from that league, then automatically people will go to, or it's a farmers league and stuff like this. But it's a disrespected league, and if you ask me, like look at the PSG, what they've done this year. Like Lyon have done us over in the past. Like these teams usually do pretty well in Europe. I know it's the first time PSG have won it, but they usually go to like the semi-finals and shit like that. So it is a disrespected league, and I think people play down the talent that comes from there just because it's the French league. But that's a W for us, really, because these guys are going to have been sleeping on Cherki for the last year or so, haven't they? And we've made the gamble on him now, and he could be as good as Wirtz and Musiala, and it's worth taking the risk when we're paying only 30 million. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm really excited about this guy, man. For sure, I think he could be fucking class for us if we give him the reins creatively next year.
Nah,
just by the way, the Wirtz transfer has been here we go'd by Fabrizio. 150 mil euros if you include all the add-ons. So they did eventually pay what Leverkusen asked for, which is interesting.
Jesus, that's a lot. That is a fucking.
That's what 130 mil pounds. It's over the 115 that we've spent, or 114.
And this is Liverpool on their shoestring budget that they always fucking talk about.
It's a Coutinho money, mate. It's still doing wonders for him.
Despicable that, and they're
always funny you say that. Fucking HSK just dropped another dono. He says, I'm sure Liverpool is still spending that Coutinho money. Well, he's just dropped again, apparently, that it's 150 million euros, which is 130 million. It's 100 million pound more, than what we paid for Cherki. And this is why, for me, the Cherki is just a no-brainer, because it's just, it's no risk, man. It's a no risk, but you've got sky-high potential. Sky high potential. Like this guy legit could be one of the best players, if not the best player in the world in a couple of years' time. That's the talent that we have.
Especially under Pep as well.
Especially under Pep. It's about, can we get that talent out of him on a consistent basis? Yeah, because we all seen that game against Spain, when he can put that ball into the back of the net with that unreal volley, the play, the breakdowns, unbelievable. That was an unbelievable performance. I was sat there absolutely stunned on the watch along. I've not seen a performance like that from a player in so long. But it's whether you can, I'm not saying like put that in the top corner every game, but it's whether you can get that type of performance, out of him on a consistent basis. And that's up to Pep, and that's up to obviously, but everything that I'm hearing, everything that I'm hearing from Cherki himself is like he wants to be the best player. Yeah. Like he's saying it's all about the football. I want to be this guy. I want to be him. You know what I'm saying? So now big up to HSK again, man. Big up Tarek as well, bro, for joining. What you saying, bro, on this transfer window, man, and then I'll bring in Steve as well.
Oh man, it's I mean, it's been great. I mean, again, everybody has to get out there and perform on the pitch, right? But if you just look at what we were able to do on paper, it's pretty close to amazing. And then you talk about the money and what we were able to do versus for the same amount or less than what Liverpool had to pay. And again, I was one that was advocating for Wirtz. I was advocating for just paying whatever they wanted. But once you decide that that's not going to happen, this is as good as it could be, all things considered. So I'm extremely excited. I'm excited to see how these signings get on here in the States. So now, like I said, it's just about what they do on the pitch, because on paper, this could be a legendary window. So we'll have to see.
For sure.
Nah, facts, man. Facts, everybody. Big up everybody as well. I think, obviously, like, towards the beginning of the window, I'm definitely realised on self-reflection that I am a bit of a panicker. You know, I was extremely critical, and, you know, people can hate on that all they want, but I just, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? On the pitch, I'm more comfortable with things on the pitch, but less of a panicker, more so. But off the pitch, when it comes to transfers and that, I was stressing, I was sweating. You know, I wanted Wirtz, and when we didn't get Wirtz, I was like, that's it now. Like, we're not going to have a chance. But then, the board have obviously proved me wrong. What I think the board have done is, I think they've told them, like the sporting directors, they probably said to them, look, these 10 days, we're going to give you 150 million euros to play with. Do what you want with it. So they've obviously looked at it in the end and thought, right, what can we do here? We can either go and get one guy, or we can really, really implement this rebuild. And that's what they've done. Oh, they've made me feel like a clown, because I wanted them to get that one guy. But it turns out now I actually feel a lot more comfortable going into next season, and a lot more confident, and so excited about this team. The fact that they've really started this rebuild and got key things that we need, like the left back. In my opinion, that left back right there is one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in that. Like, every time Wolves are on the TV, I'm like, oh, I'll check Ait-Nouri out. You know what I'm saying? Because he always excites me. He gets me off my feet. I think he'll do great for Pep. In terms of his defensive abilities, he's never had anything in front of him to protect him, really. Now he's got Rodri, and now he's got the ball possession as well. So Wolves ain't got the possession like we got the possession. So we're going to suit him more than Wolves. Do you get me? So people thinking that he's not going to suit us, or we're going to kill him. Nah, we're going to actually bring the best out of Ait-Nouri now, because we're going to give him the ball to excel. Cherki, I think he's extremely technically gifted. He's shown it, man. Like, even just his touches, bro. His touches show how technically elite this guy is. I've got absolutely no doubts of what he's going to come in and do. And bro, obviously, I think the only one thing that we could ask for really was a right back. But again, what more can you ask for now? We've had 10 days. We've done mad business, and we've got ourselves a lot of time in the summer now to actually try and come up with a good kind of fee for a right back,
because I think that's a big one, isn't it, the right back? So I think that's going to need time.
The thing is, though, Jacob, we have time now, bro. We've done mad business in 10 days, so we're going to have all summer now to actually, like, slow down a bit now and concentrate on it.
Yeah, the right back's important, but it wasn't immediate for the Club World Cup, because Nunes has done well.
I quite like Nunes.
The left back, it was immediate. The 8 was immediate, and the 10 was immediate. So that's what they've done. They've gone out and got the immediate signings that were necessary for the Club World Cup. I'm happy with all 3 of them. And then after the Club World Cup, it'll then be right back, what we're going to do here. And then it'll be like, if Ederson goes, we'll get a replacement. But I'll just tell you what, I don't know if any of you's watched the Algeria game. Yeah, they got beat 4-3. It was a cracking game. They were 4-0 down. It come back 4-3. And they probably should have equalised, if not won the game, to be honest. But Ait-Nouri, man, best player on the pitch for Algeria. Yeah, so technically further advanced than anybody else on the pitch, even the Swedish players. The way that he drives forward with the ball, there was a little bit of play. I tried to get it because they streamed it on YouTube, but then for some reason they've took the stream down. He created a mint chance here. He got the ball on the halfway line, yeah. He fed it into the. I can't remember if it wasn't a striker. It would have been. It might have been Ben Rama. It might have been Ben. So he got the ball on the halfway line, yeah. Fed it with pace into Ben Rama, and then instead of just sitting there admiring the pass because it was a sick pass, he sprinted forward. Yeah, Ben Rama flicked it to him. He took it round him, right, and then the defender was next to him. He then barged past the defender, whipped in this proper evil ball straight to Bunajad, a striker who come on. The guy should have bagged. It was inside the 6-yard area, and all he needed to do was just put it to the left or the right, and the guy just kicked it straight to the goalkeeper. Unbelievable. It should have been an assist. He probably should have scored as well, but it was a bit of a dodgy one. Like, it was right next to the ball, and it was on his weak foot and that. But he was good, man. He was really, really good. And
this is the big thing about Nouri, though, bro. Yeah, anyone panicking, thinking like, is he going to be able to make that step up? This kid's not designed to play in a team that are struggling. This kid's designed to play in a team that have the ball and allow him to do what he's best at, which is have the ball, bro. So this guy's going to excel at Man City, 100% about that.
You know what you're going to get from him as well, right? So you know when Gavardio gets the ball and goes forward, he's got that, but I feel like he's more techie. I think he'd be more quick than Gavardio when he's further forward, man. So yeah, now honestly, man, I think this is a fantastic signing. I've been asking for him for quite a while, and the price again is, I think it's a great fee. He's Premier League proven. He's been in the Premier League now for 5 years, and I just feel that like this is a top signing. And you know, you add that to Reinders, who to be honest, is kind of going under the radar. Like people are not really speaking about him that much.
Probably the third one.
Cherki's taken all the headlines, and considering that Reinders was the one that we had like done, by all accounts, we had that one done the earliest of the three, like the Reinders one. Cherki's kind of been the one that, because obviously, I think it probably helps that Cherki had that sort of performance against Spain, didn't it? Like him coming off the bench and doing that in that last sort of 25 minutes was what really made, you know, that's what got people. If Ryan's
he announced himself to the world, didn't he? I mean, people are fearful now. They've seen that and they're fearful. They already probably was, but the most impressive thing for me is these fees, guys. Even for Reinders, you're talking about one of the best midfielders in Europe, definitely the best in his league, with a league that has Barella in it, by the way, who I think is an unbelievable player. You know, it's the fees are absolutely unbelievable. We pulled off a work of magic, and you know
we've done well to sort of go after players that, I mean, obviously we've gone for Milan didn't get Europe, so they needed money, so it's kind of like a good opportunity there. Lyon didn't get Champions League, have obviously got this kind of like gentleman's agreement with Cherki, so that's a great opportunity again to jump on. And then Ait-Nouri, I mean, did he have like 1 year left in his contract with them having an option to make it 2? Obviously, obviously Jorge Mendes owes us one for us spending fucking silly amounts of money on Nunes. So that one's ended up getting over the line quite cheap as well. But I think we've just seen a lot of opportunities to get players in for the cheap, and I think that maybe that's the sort of, with Viana, the kind of route that we're going to go down, more than the big boy signings like Wirtz. We are just going to look at, right, well, we could do this. And I mean, this is kind of irrelevant because we didn't choose not to buy Wirtz. He chose to go to Liverpool. So it's not like we weighed the two up and went, nah, you're okay, Wirtz. Like, he ultimately said no to us. So maybe this is kind of just a hand that was forced a little bit.
We said no to him, Joe. Matt. Come on.
No, he picked Liverpool. He picked Liverpool. I think that but the idea is that obviously, even if we don't, you know, if we don't do that, or we choose not to do that, like Viana's got, right, well, plan B is this guy for less money than that. And I think that's sort of like that's a perfect guy you want in charge, really, because it means that obviously this summer, where we are having to do a big rebuild where we need 4, 5, 6 players. I mean, we still need more than that, really. But once we get into the stride where we're good, and it's like 2018, 19, where we just got to the end of that year and we're, right, Riyad Mahrez, we'll just buy you now. Like, once we start to add these, like 1, maybe 2 players every year, just to sort of bolster an existing already good squad, that's when Viana maybe can do these sort of like these Wirtz level signings, like these big players. But it's good to see that when we're in a year where we have a rebuild on our hands and we need to get loads of players in, we aren't just being. I feel like maybe this is just because we went through a phase of doing this, and not necessarily this isn't necessarily a cheeky thing. But Cheeky was the release clause guy when he was like, this guy's got a 50, 60 mil release clause. We don't have to do any negotiations. Sick, let's just pay it. Whereas that's obviously not the approach that Viana's taken. We obviously the exception of Nico. Nico had a release clause at Porto, didn't he? But that might have been a cheeky special as well.
But he wasn't like officially working at City at the time. There. I definitely think that you can see a difference in how we've maybe approached, and it's kind of difficult because we don't fully know who's like, you know, how much Cheeky's still involved, how much Viana's pushing it. We're led to believe that it pretty much is Viana, and then Cheeky's just helping out, and it is what it is. But I don't know, man. I just think it's mad impressive. I was saying this morning on the stream with Daps that it feels like they've attacked this window with such precision, and you know, whatever happened. And I said this morning, but I'll get your guys' take on this. It feels like we've massively learned from the Bellingham situation, because again, if we look back at what we did with Bellingham, when we lost out on Bellingham, that it was just a whole mess, wasn't it? We went to Rice, we put a bid in for Rice, then we removed our bid, then we moved on to Paqueta, then that fucking went south, then we went and got Nunes, and there was talks about Maddison at the time. It was just a bit of a mess. Whereas now, like, look how quickly we were to move on from Wirtz. Regardless of how Wirtz, whether he rejected us or we pulled out the deal, whatever, it's irrelevant. Look how quickly we moved on. Look at the precision. And you got to go back to the interview that Karl did, yeah? Go back to the interview. He said, we've got targets and we've got secondary targets as well. We don't get our main targets, we'll get our secondary targets. And that's what's happened, you know what I mean? And we've got the players in. You know, I'm buzzing with the players. And now it's just a case of getting this Club World Cup done. Hopefully we win it. And then make some more signings and just get it right back.
I think for me, that's the main thing really about how we've gone about it. Like say these secondary targets, because particularly when it came to replacing Kevin De Bruyne, my biggest sort of panic when Wirtz was the guy and it came out that we weren't getting him, my sort of panic was, well, we have a track record of not having a guy, of not having a plan B in this situation. Like when it was Company, it was Maguire or wait a year, and when it was Aguero, it was Harry Kane or wait a year. And like those have ultimately worked out fine because eventually we got Ruben Diaz, eventually we got Erling Haaland. So like it gets there, but you still have that year where you haven't replaced them. Whereas obviously this summer, I think whether this is a Viana thing or whether this is just the club needs a serious sort of rebuild no matter what thing. But we have had like we didn't. It became clear we weren't getting Wirtz, and we did have multiple players like lined up and sort of ready to go in that case, which is, you know, that gives me a lot more confidence going into like future transfer windows. When we, you know, so obviously this year we might not necessarily nudge out all of Bernardo and Gundogan and all that, but in a year or two we will, and it's good to know that we aren't going to just be like, right, it's this player or bust to replace them. Like we will have like multiple sort of options there to do it. So yeah, that's, you know.
Do you guys get the feeling as well that Viana is? By the way, Tarek, is that you in the chat? Did you just write a message in the chat? Yeah.
I think I just was like Craig Party Time Bomba.
Yeah. No, I'd make you a mod. I didn't know if it was because the weirdos people try and pretend like the people is weird.
No, I just said it was a Bomba because he kind of revealed that he works at the club, and I didn't know that, so I didn't know if you all knew that already. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Now, let me ask you guys a question as well. Chat, I want to get your opinion on this as well. Yeah, do you get the feeling that Viana is a little bit more open to a bit of a risk? Because like you look at the signing of Huzanov, you look at the signing of Vita Hayes. For me, these are definitely players that that Viana signed. And then you look at Cherki. I don't know if Tiki would have pulled the trigger on Cherki. I don't know what's your take on that? Because I get the feeling that Viana might be a little bit more ready to take a bit of a risk on a bit of an unknown prospect. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he seems very like meticulous in his style, in his like scouting style. I feel like he's going for the players that are kind of just on the brink of like breaking through into like superstardom kind of thing. So, you know, rather than going for the guys who are the big names and the guys who are the Real Madrids are talking about and the Liverpools and the Arsenals are talking about, he's finding these players that are just on the brink and show all the talent in the world that look like they can go on to be world class and one of the best players in the world. And he gets it, and he takes the leap on them just before they kind of break out, which is what we used to do a few years ago. Like when you think about KDB and even like going back to like David Silva and people like that, they weren't that world class level at the time when we brought them into the club, were they? But they became that at the club. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice to see that again, that we're getting they are known players, but they're just like below that level right now, flying under the radar and are just ready to explode into something crazy, hopefully, man. So yeah, I kind of like his style. It could end up making us even better than bringing in the big dogs at the end of the day, because we could end up having 5, 6, 7 like world class talents that have come in for between 30 million, 40 million, 50 million quid. So you cannot complain, man. He's doing absolute bits at the moment.
I'll be honest, man. I don't think any of these signings are risks for me. You know, I think Cherki. I think Real Madrid would have had that kid. I think anyone would have took that kid. I think obviously Liverpool were speaking to him, innit? You know what I mean? And Reinders, I don't think he's a risk whatsoever. I think he's the best we could have bought in that position. I think Ait-Nouri, in my opinion, he's more than proven in the Premier League. So I actually don't think any of those signings are risks. You could argue that maybe like the centre, the young centre half, I forget his name, it slips me mind. You could argue that he's a risk. Kuzanov. You could argue that he's a risk, but in my opinion, he's not. I think I've seen enough from him to show that he's got a fantastic future. I actually don't think any of these are risks, and I'm so excited. I feel so comfortable with this team going into the season. Like no matter what the 11 is, bro. I just think we got obviously more options now as well. One key thing for me is though that is very important. That's obviously has gone under the radar is outgoings. That is very necessary going into the next, the beginning of the.
Well, I think that's maybe that. I think the plan was, because it's such a big rebuild, get certain players through the door. And for me, the players that we needed to get through the door were the key positions, the midfielders and the left back. And then after the Club World Cup, it's then Ederson replacement if Ederson decides to go, right back, and obviously moving on to getting players out. I think that's what it's going to be. I also think as well, like, given the fact we didn't win anything, they might be trying to, like, just give these older guys one last attempt to win something. The only one that we couldn't do that was KDB, because obviously he didn't want to get injured in the World Cup and then scupper his chances of a move. So maybe that's another reason why they just sort of like didn't get rid of anyone. But
you get what I'm saying about these signings, though? Like, do you see what I'm saying about them not particularly being risks? Like, I think all these guys are ballers, man.
I think I see the club being a little bit more, I don't want to use the word cutthroat, but before we would have said we have targets, but we only go and get them if people leave, and we're not going to really push you out. So we're kind of held hostage to being able to move forward based on what these players do. This year, we've said we're going to go get these players, and it's obvious that your playing time is not going to be there. So you can decide if you want to stay or not. But we're not going to hold up our plans based on what you decide to do. We're going to go move forward, and you have to make the choice. If let's just use Grealish in this example, you got to decide, do I just say I've got a contract, I'm going to stay regardless, or do I want to go play? And I know I'm not going to play, because not only did I not play very much last season, but then they've also brought in additional players that can play in that position. So it's not just him. I think you're going to see the same thing with some of the midfielders. It's like we're going to have to move on, otherwise we're just not going to play, and we may not even be registered for different matches because we're going to be there's going to be too many people.
And obviously Pep had a moan, didn't he? He didn't want a big squad anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get
have to go.
So you're going to expect at least five to go by the time we get back.
On the idea of these players being like a risk or not, I think that I don't think it's necessarily a case that whether they're or not they're a risk now, because I think we've had plenty of players in the past who weren't risks that we've let go somewhere else, if that makes sense. Like Kusanov, for example, or someone or even a Cherki, to be honest. Like, I think in the past we would have looked at a Kusanov and gone, right, you're on our list, but we're going to wait until you join a Bournemouth or a Brighton, and then we're going to let you prove yourself, and then we'll spend 80 million on you in 2 years when you're a proven Premier League player or a proven like top level player, rather than just spend half that on you now or a third of that on you now, and sort of take and that's the bit that's always like Rodri, for example, is always the one that's annoyed me the most. 1 year before we signed him, he went to Atleti for 26 mil from Villarreal. And we didn't even get, and there's no way that he wasn't on our radar at all at that point. I'm pretty sure he was, actually. I'm sure there was like a report of linking us to him the year before. But we let him go to Atletico to then just sort of take the risk on, to sort of let them do the risk bit and then just pay extra for him to have been proven at a top level. And I feel like that's a bit that's always like baffled me about a lot of the transfers that we do. Like we will happily wait an extra year or two for them to maybe do one extra transfer in that sort of middle bracket from the club that they're at.
And then we go and get them.
And us. And then we go and spend like 2 or 3 times the amount of money that we could have spent on them a year or two earlier.
I guess though, at the same time, when you're buying the player at that point, pretty much for sure
that's
like this is going to work. So this thing about Viana, I think what Viana's going to do, I think Viana's going to try and get, not all the time. Like, you've still got to pick up your Marmouches and that. You can't just be going like getting all these young players. But I think he's going to be more willing to buy a Rodri before he makes that move, buy a Kusanov before he makes that move. Now, what's going to happen is he's not going to have 100% hit rate on those, and people have to be prepared that we will buy a couple of these at 30 million, and they'll end up being crap, you know what I mean, and not being good enough. But obviously, if this guy's talent ID is as good as we think it might be, and so far it's looking pretty good, it's going to massively be outweighed by all the hits that he's going to get. Because I'm looking at Kusanov right now, we bought him for 30 million. Obviously, Marmouche has come through the door. That's slightly different. Cherki at 30, I reckon it's going to work. Ait-Nouri at 30, I think that's going to work. And obviously, Reinders, again, slightly different, but only 46. So you know, you just got to be prepared. So long as people understand that he's not going to have 100% hit rate, and we will buy some that won't work out. You know, but
because of the fee, it does take away that feeling of like it's failed, innit? Like if it does fail once, twice, even 3 times, man, the fact that you paid 30 million doesn't hit you that hard anymore. Like,
and 30 mil is an easily recoverable rate to spend to sell.
I was
like,
it's hard to say it's a failure because you can always get your money back.
Yeah.
Their potential is worth the 33 to 35 to 40 million euros. It's just like if and I don't think this is the case, but if Cherki comes in and he doesn't light it up, and for whatever reason we decide to move him on, I think we can still find 30 to 40 million euros from any number of clubs because his potential is sky high.
The thing is in football as well, lads, for me, I think timing is everything, you know. So I think, for example, Karl said it himself, we wouldn't have pulled the trigger in January with them centre-halves if we didn't, for example, have a lot of key injuries in that area. You know, sometimes, for example, you referred to Rodri, maybe we just didn't feel like we needed him the year before, so maybe obviously they just hang on to pull the trigger. I think they will always pull the trigger if they feel like the time is necessary, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, let me just come to some of these chats. Chat, make sure you smashing these likes up, man. 1.4k in the building. Smash the likes up. Let's see if we can get these likes to 400, man. We need 17 people out of 1.4k to smash the likes. Make sure you guys have done that. Make sure you guys are subbed up as well. Big up to HSK for them 2 super chats as well. Big up to you, bro. Appreciate it, man. Big up to our Jew, bro. Says, Wirtz, 150 million euros. Here we go. He better score 2 goals a match. Well, actually, it's funny. I just seen someone tweet. I can't remember who it was. I think it was FPL Main Road. But if Grealish was 100 mil, won 3 Premier Leagues, a treble, and all this kind of crap, and he's still a flop, then what is Wirtz going to have to do?
Wirtz has got to do a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah, Wirtz got to do a lot. You know what, bro?
The thing is with Wirtz, I think this guy needs a striker, you know, in front of him. I know he's got Mo Salah in it, but he still ain't got no striker. You know?
I think they might be signing that Ekatike guy. I think
that's
what
people
are saying.
Yeah.
How much more P's have they got?
They got the Coutinho money, bro. That's the thing, isn't it? They got the Coutinho cash. Honestly,
that's been a thing for the last 5 years, though.
No, it's actually wild. Big up to you, bro. Big up to you, bro. Big up to Liam Manson, super chat for the boys. What phase is Viana in? He's in the cook phase. He's in the cook phase, bro. Nah, for real. Big up to you, bro.
We don't need phases, man. Stage 1, if you're good enough, you're ready, bang, you show it straight away.
That's it, man.
No messing about.
If you need to go into phase 2, you failed. That's why you're Big up to a Jew says, in an imaginary scenario, if Cherki outperforms Wirtz, will they say he has Haaland up front? There is no win in this. I'm waiting for Pep. Come back, says a Jew. I don't know, man. I don't think so, but
that's bullshit.
You know, you can say though, we've got Haaland, but we ain't got no winger like Mo Salah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
I don't think
why do we care? Going to the current Premier League champions. Do you know what I mean? He's going to a supposedly ready-made team that have just won a trophy. Do you know what I mean? Cherki's coming to a team who've just had the worst season in years and won fuck all. So if he does well and cooks for us, then he's done it himself, man.
Yeah. Nah, facts, man. Big up to you, bro. Shout out to Ian. Said sometimes Plan B turns out better than Plan A. I bet January signings plus Wirtz was Plan A. Plan B has resulted in some duplication. Got to see the outgoings. Yeah, now I definitely need to see the outgoings. We need to see the art. I mean, we all
my guess is that part of Plan A was probably that we got in a couple of these players now that we've got now, but we wouldn't have done these before the Club World Cup, and it would have been dependent on outgoings before we got any of them in. Because obviously we had this like Steve said before, it's it could have been a case that we got. He's just been told you have this much money to spend right off the bat. And maybe we just spent that money on Wirtz in an ideal world, and then we know then that anything else that we want to do after that is going to be dependent on shoving out 1 or 2 of the players that that we've wanted to get rid of. Whereas now, because we've done it the other way around, maybe we've got a bit more flexibility with obviously we still have to get rid of these guys just for the squad numbers more than anything else, but it means that we've actually done. It's actually helped us do more of the rebuild earlier. So we've so strangely this Club World Cup, which I'm still struggling to care about, but now I have a reason to watch at least because we've got 3 new players to watch. That's actually giving these new signings a bit sort of more time to gel with
they're going to be biting at the bit as well, aren't they, mate? To prove, what I mean? It's like being a new signing. They're going to be.
But these are 3 players who've come from clubs that are nowhere near the Club World Cup. Like for them, it's like a blessing in disguise, and it's actually be in the competition.
I think it'll give the current players a bit of a boost as well, man. A bit of excitement in them. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Look at Haaland especially, bro.
Exactly. Do you know, playing with the same players that they have been, recycling the same players for the last 5-6 years. Now that they've got these young, big talents coming through the door, and I don't know, maybe challenging the places and stuff like that, it's either going to give them a kick up the arse, or they're going to think, right, look at this now. We've got these new hungry dogs through the door, and we're going to absolutely fucking.
Well, it was like going back to January, right, bro? It was like going back to January, yeah, when we was obviously in that shit run in December, October, November, December. It was an awful run. The players needed signings because the players were looking at each,
didn't they? Yeah,
they needed, bro. They were all looking at. They're probably always going into training, looking at each other, going, "Who's getting us out the shit here, boys? Oh, I can't do it. It's been 14 games." So then that's why they need sign. Like the players sometimes need a little bit of a boost. And obviously when we went and bought Marmouche from Frankfurt, everyone sees him come in. He's probably started slamming goals in training. Everyone was like, "Yes, finally we've got someone who can score goals." Like obviously because Haaland wasn't getting any much chances or whatever. And then that just lifts everybody. Then you get a couple more in. Huzanov comes in and starts doing well. And it doesn't take a lot. I always said this when we was in that bad run of 1 winning 14. Yeah, I always said that we can get out of this mess as quickly as we got in it. Yeah, and that's what happens. We got put a couple runs, we put a couple wins together, and that's what happened. And then this summer, yeah, because I'm telling you now, like players like Haaland, mate, I'm telling you, he would have been fuming at the end of the season. Fuming, mate. Like with how the season went, like missing out on a trophy, you know, nowhere near the Premier League title, didn't even get into the knockout phases of the Champions League. He ain't happy with that, mate. So he's looking at Cherki. He's probably watching Cherki for France, going, "Come on, man." Then he's watching Tijani Reinders and that. It just feels like the morale of the club all of a sudden is mad high again. And I always said that in the bad months, as bad as it was, I kept on saying, listen, we can get out of this mess as quickly as we got in it, but we need to act. And the board acted in January, just like we knew they would, because not fucking idiots. Yeah, they went and signed 4 or 5 players, and now they're continuing it now. And I bet the players are ready to go for it, man. They want to get that Premier League back. It's going to be tough because Liverpool are moving mad as well. But,
fair play to Liverpool, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even for winning it in general, fair play to them. You know, Arne Slot, great manager. You know, when I keep hearing this 1 winning 14, bro, I can't even believe it.
I can't believe
I actually can't believe it.
I can't.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, you see this season now, we're not going to go 3 games in a row like without a win. You get me? I'm going to say we ain't doing 3. Never mind 14.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to be...
I don't think we'll not win 14 games all season, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say fucking we're going to be breaking records, but what I'm going to say, I can't see us losing 3 games in a row this season.
Can someone check in with that United fan who's growing his hair? He's like, is he doing it over the summer as well?
Yeah, he is. He is doing it over the summer, bro. He is. But you know what? Well, that 1 winning 14 thing was like, I don't think people like, some people didn't fully deep just how bad that was. Like, even in the Stuart Pearce era, bro, even in the Stuart Pearce era, yeah, we didn't go through anything like that. No. Nothing like that.
It is mad.
And a lot of the games was like 2-0 up, 3-0 up as well, and we still weren't fucking getting over the line. It was madness, wasn't it?
I remember it was at a point where it was like getting to the end of some of these games, and because I would do the podcasts and afterwards, like the review podcasts and a City Ramble, and a lot of the reaction would be like, "Oh, but like the performance wasn't that bad though, was it?" It's like, maybe we just lost our fucking 7th game in a row. Like I don't give a fuck what the performance was like. Like we're just losing.
Go back and watch some of the panel shows from December, man. They are fucking crazy.
I was coming up with bags in the eyes and that. Like,
it's so funny when people was giving me shit back
broken.
Then. Bro, people was giving me shit like, "Oh, why being negative?" It's like we won 1 game in 10. Like, what do you want me to do? This is a fucking.
Oh, do you remember the early days when we were saying it was a crisis, and so certain other people said that was a ridiculous reaction, that we're entitled, and then lo and behold, a month later, we were 1 winning 14, and everyone was calling it a crisis, and it's like it was almost as if it was a crisis, and we were fine to call it out.
It was, yeah. Nah, it was a madness, but the good thing is, like, we are very lucky that we support a club that's actually serious, mate. You know what I mean? Because so many teams would have either, you know, just sacked it off in January or whatever and just finished 7th or whatever. But that's why, like, you know what I mean? Like, we all criticize and we all have our little moans and rants or whatever, yeah. And it was grim. But we are also very lucky. We are a very lucky fan base that we support a club with Karl at the top, who for me is, I think, the best chairman in 100%. World football. Because
he means business, that guy, and he don't take losing for
sick, bro.
Nah, spot on. That's exactly what it is, man. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, this is so funny. We was having this conversation in our group chat, weren't we, Jay?
This is horrific.
Bro,
how you was pushing for that in January is fucking beyond me.
Bro, it was
I cannot
bad.
believe you said it, yeah.
You'd
fully lost your head back then.
Yeah, but I was done at it. I was asking for fucking Chalobah. I was asking for Dzeko. I was asking for Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
It was dark times, man. It was dark times. We were just like,
fucking Dzeko. And I was like, he's like 40 years old, man. What you on about?
And you was like, oh, but he scored this many goals.
Yeah.
He scored 18 goals for Feyenoord. Nah, it was crazy. But that's how bad it was. That's how bad the situation was.
I was all over Douglas Luiz, though, you know, because you know what? Our midfield was cooked, wasn't it?
You
know what I'm saying? Our midfield was a mess, you know. So obviously, Douglas Luiz, he would have done a job back then times, you know what I'm saying? But we're on bigger things now, man. We got Reinders there. Yeah. You know,
and that's the thing. We don't see all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and thankfully they're not as short-sighted as we are. We just wanted something, and we needed something immediately in the moment.
Yeah.
And they got us that in Nico Gonzalez or whatever, but they were also planning for what's going to happen in the summer, or what's happening now.
I would have took Scott McTominay, mate. You know what I'm saying?
Mate, that guy's cut.
He's actually been killing it.
You know,
crazy.
I mentioned him on the panel a few months ago as well, and Popey was like, "Fucking Scott McTominay" and all this, because I think I said in like January or February, like he's one of the best like box crashing midfielders in the world and stuff like that. And then he's gone on and fucking won the player of the year.
He actually has done bad things.
So he's done sick, man.
I tell you what, you bring that kid back to the Premier League, and I'm sure you see the old Scott McTominay again.
Yeah.
Nah, it was great.
Maybe,
you know what's funny?
Maybe Italy's the Farmers League, man. Not Ligue 1.
Don't say that because we got Reinders.
I was asked. I went on 9320's podcast recently, and they asked me a question. They said, "Did you ever doubt Pep? Like in terms of like, did you ever want him sacked or ever want him out in that time?" And my answer was no. I always felt throughout the whole like 1 winning 14 and that it was the players, and we needed new players, and I felt that the players weren't good. I never once, obviously I said that some of his decision making, whatever, but I never questioned Peppers in terms of like I want him done or whatever. Did any of you even have a doubt at any point? Because a lot of fans did.
I doubt. No, I didn't. No, not to sack him. But I was definitely when we were sort of mid that run. I was seeing the same midfields every week and the same basically the same 12 or 13 players start every game. No Nico O'Reilly, no McAtee, none of these hungry like young kids that we had that were there that were able to come in and maybe take some of the minutes out of these. We were playing the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were seeing like the same like 30-plus-year-old players just being rotated, just playing every 3-4 days, just because Pep was just like they were his guys and he trusted them. And I think personally that a lot of that 14 games, that 1 win in 14, is down to Pep. Like I know that the players were still shocking, but we had a lot of injuries and Pep did pretty much nothing. He went basically like what I would liken it to is a bit similar to like Ange this season, where Ange had some big injuries, but he just went, let's just keep doing plan A and just hope that these shitter players are going to be able to do plan A correctly.
I didn't hate the man, hated the idea kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just the fact that Pep didn't. It never felt like he adapted to what he was what was being given to him. He just went right. I'm going to wait till January when some of these players are back and we get in 1 or 2 new guys, and then I'll be able to just keep doing plan A like I wanted to. And so that frustrated me.
I think
it's fair to question him.
He lost his head, and he's scratching his head and that. He just needed to go. I just wanted him to send him therapy or an ayahuasca.
Well, mate, if we were in the trenches, imagine being him. Imagine
he just needed the guy.
The Toad.
I thought he was going to like do something crazy, man. But never doubt him as a manager. Just like he genuinely lost his head for a couple of months.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because I see a lot of people at the time, and still some people now who think that maybe, you know, football's moved on from Pep's sort of style or whatever. But I always said, like, I don't think people realise that Pep will change the way that Manchester City are going to play.
And he's already looking like he is with the players.
He's already looking like he's going to do that. And for me, it was clear in my opinion, that it was the players. And that's why I called it a crisis 3 games into that run, is because I was looking at how we was playing and I was looking at the players available. And I was like, we ain't got the players available. So now we got the players available. Now we got the players back in January, and obviously Marmoush coming, which is a big problem that wasn't being spoke about too much actually in the fan base. In that we don't have a goal, because everyone was speaking about the midfield. It's the midfield. It's the midfield. It's the midfield. It's the midfield. I was like, yeah, it is the midfield. However, our attack is also not delivering as well. Marmoush come in, and now we've got Reinders coming in. Now obviously Rodri's coming back, and Ait-Nouri, which will give us a completely different dimension. I'm fully expecting Pep to revitalise this side. I think we're going to be playing much better football next year in terms of eye test. I think City fans are going to enjoy watching it. And I think the results will come with that as well. And I just think the whole club next year, the players on the pitch are going to look more interested and happier. The fans are going to be buzzing. Pep's going to be buzzing. And maybe we have to go through this little bit of pain to sort of like really get to the bottom and get to the weeds and be like, what is going on here? What's the problem? Right. These 3 players in midfield are too old or whatever. The Kevin De Bruyne conversation. I was flip-flopping on that week by week. 1 minute he was dropping a fucking world-class performance. Next minute he couldn't run. I was like, fucking hell, what do we do here? And it's the ruthlessness that we've dealt with this summer. And I know some people weren't happy with the way that we handled the Kevin De Bruyne. I get that, but at the same time, you need your club to be ruthless, and that's exactly what we've done.
They clearly had this plan, and it's good to see that it looks like he was working on this behind the scenes leading up to the window, because it shows how quickly we've got things done, that these were already in the pipeline when they did make that Kevin De Bruyne decision. Like, these transfers haven't just been made on a whim the last week, have they? It shows that they had a clear plan and it had been worked on for probably months. So they've made that decision on Kevin De Bruyne, knowing that we had these big dogs ready to come in when the transfer window did open. And we've got them in before the Club World Cup, man. So you've got to put faith in Viana and in Pep as well, that they've made the right decision.
What it is with Pep for me, is that, yes, it wasn't working. And yes, I was frustrated. Yes, I wanted him to play the youngsters. I wanted him to play Nico O'Reilly. But for me, with Pep, it's a matter of time before he finds a solution. If I want anyone to find a solution, I'll leave it with Pep. Even if it takes time, I feel like a solution's always around the corner. I think he's changed things in his whole career. Even though if it's just subtle changes, like what he does with the fullbacks, he does find solutions. So if a guy is going to find a solution, I'll leave that with Pep all day, man.
Look what he did after his first season with us.
I was just going to say, he's very stubborn, like the way that he plays it. When he's got an idea, he don't shift from that idea until that idea works. Like, the amount of times that you've seen him, like, with like a certain style of play where he's like push someone up on the side, and if that collection of players like hasn't worked, he will still stick to that idea but swap the player out until it does work, just to be sort of like told you so kind of thing. Like, but I think this year you'll have the what's it called, Pep Linders coming in and actually sort of not sort of telling him what to do, but questioning things. And I think sometimes that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, he might have had too many yes men around him the last few years. Seemed like kind of.
I'll tell you what as well, though, lads. Pep Linders can say what he wants, but for me, the final decision is still on my man, Pep Guardiola. You know what I'm saying?
It will be.
Any of these men can come in and say what they want, but for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely going to have the final say, but you want someone that challenges the way that you think.
A few fresh ideas.
And doesn't just, we've always done it this way. We've done it this way together for the last X number of years. Now you get someone that says, that might work, but hey, I've got this other idea as well. Yeah. And then you at least have to think about it.
You don't think Lilo was challenging Pep, do you, and giving him all these new ideas of how to play, put out a team? Do you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, he might have done. This is the thing, we don't ultimately know.
Sure. But I doubt it.
I think it's more the fact that, for me, it's new faces. Like, I think it's kind of the same thing we've got to do with the squad as well. It's just like some of these guys just been here too long. Like, I think it's just a case of, like, if you've got these,
that's it, Joe.
If you've got players coming into training every day for 3-4 years, and it's the same coaching staff every day way for 3-4 years, then eventually that just gets stale. And we've obviously had this guy come in. We've obviously had Pep Lijnders come in. We've had this new set piece coach we've got who's coming as well. We've got a new like coaching analyst that's come in to sort of go through all like the training sessions and stuff like that. We've got like a lot is happening. I mean, even fucking Scott Carson, like we got rid of him because, like, I mean, he's a laugh, but he's just been there for 6 years. He's been the same guy around the place for 6 years. Like now we've got this new guy who's come in. It's just that sometimes it's what Fergie always did. He changed his assistant manager like every 3 or 4 years because he thought he understood that like you needed either a new way of thinking or like the players just needed like a bit of that refresh mentally to sort of feel like things were being done a little bit differently. Like coming into training every day, doing effectively the same drills every week, the same sessions all the time. That in itself must be like really just draining on top of anything else, and must be a bit not boring, but it's not challenging you in the same way that it was when you first arrived.
You've got to keep it fresh, man. And this is why, like, if you look at, like, I always think that when we look at the 2012 under Mancini, look at the signings, man. Dead signings, respectfully, you know what I mean? And we didn't look at what United did. They went and started Van Persie. Yeah, we went and signed like Scott Sinclair and that, and like Rodwell and shit. Like, bro, you've got to strengthen. Yeah, every year, and that's why, like, I think some people think that like fans are always moaning, but it's a relentless sport. You have to keep buying. You have to keep strengthening every year. When you win the treble, you can't rest on your laurels. You've got to buy. You've got to keep buying and improving, because ultimately, eventually, it's going to become stale. And when it becomes stale real quick. And then you need to spend 300-400 million in the space of 6 months just to get top 4. So. Yeah, man. I think obviously, like Carl Doon said, man, like in the interview, which I thought it was a cracking interview. He said everything that I wanted him to say, which I had no doubts anyway. I knew he was going to say what he was going to say, because this ain't a man that's glazy shit. Yeah. This is a man.
You already knew, innit, bro?
I knew what he was going to say.
He was going to go and sit down there, and he was going to make you feel better, innit?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew he was going to sit on that interview and say, bad window in the summer. We made mistakes. We acted in January. We're going to learn from our mistakes. We ain't doing that again. Bang, let's move on. That's it. And that's why I like this guy. That's why I think he's the best chairman, mate. No glaze. We got unlucky. Did he even mention Rodri's injury? I don't even know if he did. He might have done, but like he didn't use it as an excuse. You know what I mean? He didn't sit there and go, "Oh yeah, if only Rodri didn't get injured. If only Bob didn't do his leg. Like
if only Southampton didn't sit back against us."
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just like that's what it's about, man. You have to look at yourself.
I'll tell you what, as well, yeah, LB. This is why I'm not just throwing shade, but this is why I don't like Arteta, and this is why I never think he'll be really, really successful. Because every time I hear this guy, it's well, the other team did this, or well, we had key injuries in key areas. You never hear our guys say that, bro. You never hear people talk about Rodri. And that's why
the Ballon d'Or winner was literally out all day.
I feel so good about my club, man, and I'm so glad I don't have some dickheads in charge like that, man.
Just going back to the Scott Carson thing, did you see that Bettinelli's statement before? By saying that he's really looking forward to coming and joining. He's really looking forward to helping the team off and on the pitch. And I was like, bro, you ain't getting a game. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's just a hype,
that's
man.
That's why he said off the pitch, innit? You know what I'm saying?
It's just a hype, man. That's all it is, man. English hype, man. That's what it's about. Listen, let me go through some of these chats. Smash these likes up as well, people. Oh, Neil, yeah, no, that squad was great, but then it needed reinvestment, didn't it, in that summer, and we just didn't. We ended up buying like
didn't we want like Daniela De Rossi, Van Persie, and someone else, yeah. And we ended up with fucking Jack Rodwell, Scott Sinclair, and no striker.
What was he called as well? That who we replaced De Jong with?
Javi Garcia.
Yeah, fucking terrible, man.
Yeah, and then we sold him just as he started to get good at the end of the season. Let me go through some of these chats, man. Yo, shout out to Lee, who says the Athletic transfer deal sheet articles via Newcastle correspondent Chris, whatever that is. The club have no interest in Grealish, Livramento, Bruno. To be honest with you, I'm kind of getting the vibe. It's weird, right? Because I don't know if you saw the story. It come out that the fee was 70 million quid for Livramento. And maybe we could speak about that in a minute. And I thought, maybe that's at the sort of like limit is the fee. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if City did it, but it's also a lot. But then I feel like But then a couple of hours later, it was like we heard some news about Wesley again. So I felt, I don't know, man, it's weird. I think City will maybe try one bid for Livramento, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a weird one. Because apparently they've got their own homegrown issues as well. Newcastle fans were telling me that LB, they've got their own. So if they sell Livramento, it's not good for them. So yeah, weird. It's not looking likely anyway. I think City will try, but I think we might fail on it. The vibe I'm getting at the moment. But yeah, big up Lee for the super chat, bro. Joe Butterfield, your frustration worked. Legend, says Wang. I big up for the space as well, man. It was good on that one.
Yo, yeah, man. You're welcome, everyone. Big up Wang, man.
Oh, Jay's just
I'm doing God's work.
Big up, man. Yo, shout out Wang, man. Shout out Matty, says 10-day window gets a 9 out of 10. Just feel the club should be more proactive with the goalkeeper situation. Bringing in new number 1 would have brought Clark. Yeah, you know what though, Matty? I don't know if he doesn't want to go. Well, I don't know if he was in the stream. I think it was either this morning or yesterday. He might not have been in the stream, Matty, but a guy in the chat, yeah, I think he's from Saudi or he's from the Middle East, I think, because he knows about Saudi Arabian football, yeah. And he said that the 2 clubs in Saudi who needed a goalkeeper have now got goalkeepers. So maybe, I don't know what's going on. So maybe the offer of Saudi is not on the table anymore. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable on the Saudi league. I don't know what's going on. But some guy, I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. I swear he said.
It did feel strange, didn't it? Was it not? Was it like last week or something, or earlier this week, where Pep was just asked in a press conference, and he just said, "Yeah, I don't think either of the keepers are going anywhere." Or was that?
He said he doesn't want them to go in it. Which obviously neither do I, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently it was a translation issue. It was not what he actually said. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a translation issue. So yeah, I don't know, Matty, on that one. Maybe the club. The thing is, right, Matty, as well. I'll say this to you, yeah, as well, bro. Yeah, is if City do want Costa, Costa's got a release clause, so it's very easy to get Costa. Now you might not want Costa, and I'm a bit worried about Costa. However, if City want Costa, if Ederson decides to leave, we can get Costa like that. He's got a release clause. So yeah, there you go.
Did I dream this, bro, or is this? Or did I actually see a link with that Chevalier? I might have been dreaming.
I think I saw it just the other day.
Did anyone else see it?
They said
it came out like yesterday, didn't it? The Chevalier.
Yeah,
I wasn't dreaming, yeah.
Nah, it was real, yeah. And he's the man. You know, he's better than
Villa. Villa not linked with him. Is it Villa who are linked with him pretty strongly?
Villa have been linked with him as well.
It was PSG originally, wasn't it? They wanted him to replace Donnarumma.
Donnarumma decided he was staying.
He's staying now, isn't it? So
he's staying.
Go for Chevalier, man. Then, man, he's sick. That guy.
It's going to be Costa, man. It's going to be.
You think
Costa leaves? Yeah, I think so. Because I seen someone said this morning as well. Apparently, Newcastle have started like official
James Trafford,
James Trafford.
Trafford's an option 2 for me above Costa as well. You know.
I'd have Trafford over Costa.
I'd have Trafford over Costa all day. Coming up in our system, playing pet ball, he knows his shit, man. And
every game I've seen Costa play, whether it's for Portugal or for Porto in the Champions League or whatever, and I've just not seen anything that makes me think.
Did he have a really good game the other day, though? I know he saved the penalty as well, right?
He played, So the game he played like last, when it was 2 days ago, I felt like he was a bit sus, man. I can't lie.
Okay.
But the game before that, he was really good. Like some of the saves were fantastic.
He seems like an inconsistent guy, man. I don't know.
I've not seen him have great performances.
You know what it is with his Costa? I think I see him smiling too much, man. He smiles too much at me.
You know look at you, Roy Keane.
Bro, the guy's smiling too much, man. Chevalier, he's a bit meaner and he's got shaved head.
The reality is we're not going to get any of them because Ederson is going to stay. And then the question becomes, will the fan base get behind him? Which I feel like is what happened. He got that injury and he kind of got in his feelings. And then the Saudi thing happened, so it was easy for him to step out. But I think we have to really get behind him and show him support.
Of course, if he does stay,
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think that if he does stay, there's not.
I still think he's the best keeper in the world for Manchester City.
I've heard a lot of stuff, talking about Ederson again. It's probably with the idea that he was going to leave and just his shot stopping his greatest ability. No, I think he's probably his distribution, his ability on the ball, but I don't think he's poor, right? And I think sometimes we present it as if he's been poor.
Extremism
because he
again,
made
man.
mistakes.
We said this
Sure,
the other day,
all keepers make mistakes, and I just think that there has to be an amount of appreciation for what he brings, and the ability to like, you know what, hey, he made a mistake there. Go back and get him next time. I don't know.
You know what it is, well, Tarek, yeah. People overdo this thing about like, oh, we'd have more Champions Leagues if we didn't have Ederson. Like, and some people was telling me Spurs. I went back and looked at all the goals from the Spurs City game the other day on a stream. Nobody, so someone was saying we would have won that Spurs game if it wasn't for Ederson. No one mentioned the Aguero missed penalty in the first leg. No one mentioned the 2 Aymeric Laporte errors in the home leg.
Whoa,
yeah,
no.
I know you don't like to hear that. No one mentions that. It's just like people just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I think it's crazy personally, but
because the keeper's the easier option to blame, innit? It's always the scapegoat of the team. When it comes down to individual errors, his mistake is always going to directly lead to a goal. But what he brings to this team far outweighs the 1 or 2 or 3 mistakes that he's going to make. Do you know what I mean? He's critical to the whole way we play, our whole identity. So I still believe that if we can keep hold of him, then he's still the best option in the world for our football team.
Sorry, just real quick, Leon. Speak about the manager switching the system for a fucking one-off game.
And Sterling missing that chance.
Yeah, he's missed fucking open net.
Laporte fucked it again, by the way, in that game, if we want to be honest. Yeah, so they're a pure. It's like, why is Ederson? Like, it's his fault. Like, that was on Pep, bro. Pep.
And no one talks about the Inter final enough, do they? Like, you talk about all the mistakes that he's made. We wouldn't have even won 1 Champions League if it weren't for Ederson in that Inter game. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I
think as well when you see when Ortega comes in, because Ortega came in, and I think personally Ortega is probably above average with his feet, really, but he's still shit compared to Ederson. Like, that's the difference. Like that's kind of that's the step down that you risk taking if you get rid of Ederson. Like, it is going to be like the difference in distribution that you see coming out from the keeper is going to be night and day when Ederson does leave. Whoever it is that we get in to replace him, whatever guy that is, unless it's like prime Manuel Neuer reincarnated, like, it's going to be worse.
I already think it's night and day. I already think it's night and day when Ortega does come in. I think we've seen that this season.
That's what I mean.
When he's playing in that team, our back four's confidence fucking plummets, man, because nobody trusts him enough on the ball to go and give it him under pressure and then be able to create space in these triangles at the back. Ederson brings so much confidence to that back four that we can completely change the way we play compared to when Ortega's in there. And I think that's been glaringly obvious every time he has filled in this year. And it's proved to me that I don't think Ortega is that guy. I think this year's proved that I don't think he can be the number one, which last year people would have probably argued that he can be. But I think
his first season, I was like, this guy could be number one. And then this season, the facts are he has declined. And like that, your facts. Let me just finish off these chats. We'll carry on. Built Charlie says, what are the chances of renting my City membership this coming season? I bring unlimited Bowen glaze and prop, says Charlie.
Oh, is this that Bowen guy?
Yeah.
To be fair, since he made that claim last time, a couple of months ago, Bowen has fucking cooked in the Premier League. He's not stopped scoring, that guy. So
he is a baller, to Charlie. It's weird that no one's gone in for him, to be honest.
He's a good player for West Ham.
Yeah, he's a good West Ham player. That's what
I think he's better than West Ham, though. I think he deserves a bigger move than West Ham. Like the numbers that he puts up should be.
Maybe I'd maybe put him at like Forest or Villa.
Yeah, I was going to say Forest.
I tell you what, I think Forest struggled next season.
Yeah. I think Forest are worse than West Ham. I think they've been found out the last few months. I think they've massively overachieved this year. And
mate, West Ham have been even worse than that, mate. West Ham are shite. Like they even like Forest. I know what you mean. Forest have sort of found their actual level in the last couple of months, but they're still better than West Ham. Like, comfortably at the moment.
They'll be in the bottom half next season, Forest.
A bigger club though, or like
not a bigger club.
Doing better than West Ham in my eyes.
They're not a bigger club, no, but they're a better team, at the moment.
Yeah. Have you seen what Luke from MCFC Lads has put out? Marmouche has got more GNA than Wirtz this season in Bundesliga, and he left in January.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. I can't even lie. That is fucking insane.
Did they say that
150 million?
Wirtz was hurt at some point this
Maybe
season?
this was always the plan, man, and we just wanted Liverpool to make the dud signing, like what we used to do with United, with like Onana and people like that. Maybe,
remember we did it with Fred?
Maybe we just wanted to lead Liverpool down this path. I think when we knew we was going to get Cherki all along, the real big dog, and they've jumped in at the last minute. Yeah, they've jumped in at the last minute, and they're going to have to hold that L next year when we've got the real baller.
Harry Maguire's a good one.
Oh, City are in for Harry Maguire. Yeah.
United tried to do that to us loads, didn't they? Every time we was in for someone,
and then we're like, nah, you
get linked again.
Every time I fell for it, I was like, fucking hell, why are they getting him? It was not us. And then like 2 months later,
Alexis Sanchez as well was one, wasn't it?
Oh, no, the Sanchez one actually hurt though.
Bro,
that's legit hurt.
Sanchez would have cooked at City.
Oh,
yeah, but he was shit for them. He was shit for United.
That's them, bro.
That's because it was United. Yeah,
I say pretty much everybody since then has been.
Yeah, he knew though, innit? He knew straight away. Apparently, like within the first week, apparently he asked his agent, like he said to his agent, like this is a dead move. I fucked it. Like within a week, the guy knew that he'd fucked it because he went for the money. United offered
money. Yeah, 400 grand a week, innit? It's like
United offered him 400 grand a week, man. Like so, he went for the money. He regretted it within a week. Apparently, he said to his agent, "I've made a mistake." Like, bro, it's that you can't be doing that, man.
When he went in and seen some rat running through the kitchen when he was trying to get his pasta before the meal.
Yeah, sold his soul, man.
Bruno.
Yeah, let me just finish off these chats, boys. We'll carry on. Shout out to Thoughtbot, man. Says the poor performance was due to that beta energy. Fraudulent, no skill, stubborn manager decided his love triangle with Bernardo and Gundogan was important.
That one there was a violation, personally.
Fucking hell, bro. This guy, man. This guy's chats is crazy. Now, big up, bro. You've been a professional hater, is what you've been all season, mate.
Should change his name.
Yeah. Shout out. Any ideas on the Riders? Yeah, he's done, man. He's dusted. It's just they played tonight in it, so I don't think City wanted to announce it tonight when they was playing for the Netherlands. So yeah, I imagine it'll get announced tomorrow.
They're drip feeding us, aren't they? They don't want us to all blow our loads in one go. They want to just like tease us in one a day. Otherwise, we'll all get too excited, don't they?
I wanted a 3-man. Whoa! I wanted a shit.
We can't have a 3-man reveal, man. That premature ejaculation would go crazy.
This app is too difficult, man. I can't let. Nah, but I wanted a announcement with all 3 players on it. But yeah, that would have been.
When's the Zebra announcement coming, man?
Plus Bettinelli.
The Zebra announcement, man.
The Zebra announcement. Yeah,
mate, this is what Man City did to me last year. I've had time to reflect now, like the last week, and they had me talking crazy about zebras and shit like that. This club last year, but I've come back a new man now after my week off. I'm feeling positive about this season, so no more crazy talk.
Yeah, but yeah, he's done, bro. Riders, he'll probably announce tomorrow, man. Big up Toll says I prefer Cherki assisting Haaland than Wirtz and Nunes. Says Toll. Yeah, facts, 100%. Big up to you, bro. Big up to Dylan with the 12 months. Add up my 12 months and it's 1 HSK dono. Riders is my pick for what's that?
Signing of the season.
Oh, signing of the season. Tiki and Viana chefing up Pep is a Pepper crazy squad. We only
don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh yeah.
We only need loose asshole.
You fucker. Big up for the 12 months, man. I appreciate it, bro. Shout out Nadir, man. Says I did want him out, but that's because Pep kept playing Bernardo. Wanted O'Reilly in. The United game was head loss, but he has this season to shut me up and rectify. I reckon he will shut you up, Nadir, if I'm being honest with you.
I tell you what, bro, yeah, Nadir's the type of guy that will leave his girl because she fucking gets the wrong bottle of vodka or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You gotta have more faith, man. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? You can't leave your girl that easy, man. You know what I mean? This
season was much rougher than just a wrong bottle of vodka. This was that was horrific. That December.
You need some more loyalty than that, man.
Yeah. That's buying the wrong bottle every week just to piss you off, innit?
No, that's crazy.
That's like going. You don't want this bottle of vodka, do you? Right. Well, I'm just going to give you this bottle of vodka every week for 14 weeks, whether you like it or not.
You're gonna learn to like it.
Yeah.
Big up. Shout out to Dave, man. Big up, bro. Big up to Ash. It says, I think, Ash, I'm right to say, I'm sure you do you live in Portugal? I'm pretty sure he says he lives in Portugal. Having watched Costa a lot, this season, he didn't live in Portugal. He's got pound. I don't know why I said that. Having watched Costa a lot this season, he looks like he's been low on confidence, hence why more bozo mistakes. If he can regain that, he will be unreal for City. His long passing is really good. He also says a big move might help get his confidence back. He sometimes tries camera saves and turns into a bozo. You know what? I did clock that the other day. I can't remember which game it was in. But there was a shot that went at him, and he proper like dived, 2 hands, and I was just like, bro, you could have just stepped down.
Those kind of keepers are the worst, man. The
David De Gea special.
Yeah, fucking Jordan Pickford does it all the time, man. He does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he tries that a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, listen, the thing is with me, I've been pretty honest on this goalkeeper. I don't know which one to go for. Yeah, because like they've all got pros and cons. Yeah, like Pickford. Yeah, he slammed it this year, but last year he was crap. Costa. Maybe he's the like-for-like replacement, but I've watched him 3 times, and 2 of the times he's not been good, and 1 of the times out of those 2, he was actually horrendous. Then you've got like the likes of Donnarumma, can't kick a ball. So it's kind of tricky, man. I don't know. I'm just going to let the club pick, and I hope that they're right in it. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not, then they can hold that. But I think for me, like, I don't know. I can't give you a name. I don't know who to go for. I just hope it's Ederson.
when it comes to this, I'm just kind of like, if the club pick him, then fine. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on it. You know, like, it's not like Ait-Nouri. Like, I was shouting Ait-Nouri for a couple of months because I actually rated the guy. Like, he's like, goalkeepers is a difficult one because I ain't out here actively watching like these players play week in, week out. And like, that's what you need.
This is where timing is everything again, bro. So right now, there's not a goalkeeper that stands out, but maybe next summer there might be one standing out. You know.
Yeah.
Things change in football
because
like
this is one that you can't get wrong as well. We've seen it in the past that when we've brought like a Bravo in, it really does affect you badly if you do make the wrong decision with your goalkeeper. So to take a little bit more time over the summer, I don't think is a bad thing to make sure we make the right decision.
I agree.
I like to think we all hope that we keep Ederson. So
and I think Craig in the chat, Party Time, was basically like he has to sign an extension, otherwise it makes sense if you're not going to have him on this contract out and leave him on a free as your number one keeper.
Would you keep him though, knowing that it would be on a free next season just to get one more?
And that's what Craig was saying. Basically, you wouldn't do that. He's going to have to sign an extension, even if it's just 1 year.
But say, as a hypothetical though, if it meant him staying 1 more year, but then you lost him for a free in the summer, just to make sure that like we kind of got that next guideline.
I would not, and here's why: because I know who's in the keeper market today. Whether I think they're perfect or not, at least I know what I can pick from. So Chevalier, whatever his name is, Costa. I can pick from those. I have no clue what's going to be in there in 12 months.
Yeah. The thing is with Ederson as well, the guy's earned another contract, guys. Like, he's earned the right to get.
Well, again, if he's willing to sign it, I don't think the club have any problem. But if he's like, I'm not going to sign, then we have to move. We have to be proactive. We can't just say, oh, okay, well.
I'd personally just take the extra year and just like say, if I don't think Costa. But then I'm saying this as someone who's watched like maybe 10 games that he's played and never been impressed by any of them. Like, I'm just like, I don't see anything there that makes me think, right, fuck Ederson off now and get him in, like, for the next 6-7 years. Like, I would rather keep Ederson, knowing
and make sure we make the right decision. Yeah.
And then maybe next year, like a Verbruggen or whoever it is, that guy at Brighton, he becomes available. Someone else maybe like has a great breakout year and becomes available. Maybe.
Well, this is the point though, because this is my problem. Yeah, I think Ederson's mega, but is his head in the game? Like he's got to be dialed in, because for me, I think this has been Ederson's worst year in a City kit, and it's no coincidence that it's come in the year that he didn't want to be here. He wanted to be in Saudi Arabia. So it's all well and good saying, oh, we'll just keep him for another year and we'll let him go on a free. But what about if he doesn't want to be here? Then it's not going to be concentrated. He's going to make more mistakes like he did last year. Like I've got to keep him. But if he's staying, I need him to be locked in, dialed in, and be like, yeah, I'm here.
I did think he looked strong again, though. Do you not think at the end of the season when he did have that proper run of games again? Like, you think back to the last few games of the season, I think he was solid, man. Especially in that last game against Fulham. He made some massive saves in that game.
He did dial in towards the end. I can't lie.
Yeah, like I do feel like when he was back in, he did dial in and he did look like the old Ederson again.
There is an element as well of if he's playing for a free move somewhere at the end of the season, like he's got to be good. So that unless he's literally just sitting out waiting for the next Saudi club to come in for him, knowing full well it's there no matter what, then yeah, like maybe there's an element of that. But if he wants to go to like, I don't know, if he thinks he might have like, I don't know, like a Bayern Munich or like a big other, you know, even, but not Barca, because they just signed that Garcia guy, haven't they? But like, you know, Madrid might want him after Courtois or something, depending on what his age is. I don't know. Like, he could be looking at a club like that and wanting to get a move to a club of that level, in which case he's got to have a good year, hasn't he? Because if he has a shit year because his head's not in the game, then he isn't going to get that kind of move. But obviously, there is the other side of that, which is if he's just kind of like, well, a Saudi club will.
I think it's Saudi or nothing, personally. I think it's all about the bag for him now. I think he wants the money.
But he'll get the bag.
Whether we give him a big contract or whether he goes to Saudi, I think like that's the kind of direction.
But if you go on a free transfer, if you go on a free to like a Madrid or a Bayern, though, you're getting a 20 mil signing on bonus just for walking through the door.
Yeah, but someone needs to tell him and say, bro, you're 31 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, bro, you can play as a goalkeeper until like you're 40. Like, go stay at City for 3-4 more years. Go Saudi at 34, 35. You'll still get big cash. And you can win pure more prems than that.
You know, funnily enough, my mate said he's seen him and Savinho in Selfridges today. So
today?
These men are still hanging about, apparently. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, apparently Savinho does like it in there. Been told that a couple of times. Listen, we got another guest on the show, boys. Yo, Danny.
Yes, Danny.
This, man.
Hey, have a fucking word with him then, ref! Hey!
Goated guy, man.
Yo, big up Danny, man. What you saying, bro?
Community knows Danny.
Bro, I'm a working man. I've got to earn my dough. What we doing?
Big up to you, man. What are you saying? You good, yeah?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm off to Europe tomorrow, so I just thought I'd stop in.
Fuck off. Where are you going, Danny?
I'm going France for a couple of days. My cousin's
man.
And then I'm going to Spain, and then I'm seeing family in Italy. It's gonna be
sick, man.
No way.
Sick, man.
Welcome to the welcome to the continent.
I said out of jail.
Yeah. Now listen, let me go finish off these chats. I've got 2 more chats, and then we'll get Danny and see what his thoughts are on some of these signings and that. Chat, smash these likes up as well, man. Hit the like button if you've not done so already. LB says Ederson is injury prone. Get Cherki a mate, Chevalier. Now you just want Chevalier to replace Ederson, bro. I know
you can't argue with that, though. You know, man is injury prone.
I know his game. Shout out to Jarvis says the media team needs a rebuild on these announcements. Oh, someone said that before, in the watch along, and I was fucking dying, bro.
They announced the fucking third keeper and Cherki the fucking same way. What we're doing?
No, it's crazy, man. Yo, big up Jarvis. And shout out to Nick as well, who's become a channel member. I appreciate you, bro. W's in the chat. Smash these likes up. Danny, come on, man, our resident scout. What are you telling us about these signings, man? You thinking we're cooking on that?
I am very, very pleased. It's more than I expected. I was watching a 2021 footage, and I was just looking at Cancelo beating this man, getting crosses in the box, winning second balls, scoring from the edge of the box. I'm like, we have this guy on the left with Ait-Nouri now. We've finally replaced Cancelo, and this guy isn't a bozo defensively. We have Reinders, who... You know, Gundogan that season, I can't really call him a second ball winner. He was just in the right place, right time. Rangers is that kind of guy. We're building up a squad now. We're recreating 2021, in my opinion, I tweeted it this morning, is the best squad we ever had. We are getting serious squad depth. We are going to compete on all fronts this year, and I am just so happy. Just buzzing with this, man.
What your thoughts on Cherki, Danny? What have you seen much of him?
I've not been watching him for as long as most people have, but I can't say he's on the same level as Wirtz, but I've been tweeting out for months. It's not Wirtz or bust. It's not Wirtz or bust. And Cherki was my easy second choice. He's 2-footed, can play out wide. I hope Pep trusts him in the middle immediately because I think that's where he's best. But yeah, just very, very pleased.
This the boys.
Look at that. Look at the fucking aura. Look at the aura. Look at those jaw lines, man.
Fucking boys. Apparently, Tijani Randers said that Ake spoke to him and wanted him to join and that.
I've been waiting to see a photo of them together, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, madness.
All NFT, man.
Shema Kanji is an aura farming in the background with some bad.
Mate, he's gonna aura farm against my country.
What you guys should we talk about the right back situation then? Because there has been a bit of talk about the right back situation. It seems like maybe a City City a bit confused here. City not sure what to do. Obviously, you've got Livramento up in the northeast at Newcastle. Newcastle don't really want to sell him. Well, they say they don't want to sell him, but then they've given us a price of 70 million. Are City going to pay 70 million for a fullback? Don't know. You've got Wesley at Flamengo. We've not. No one's really seen much of this guy, but a couple of views have seen him. You've got Martin Fernandez over at Porto. Again, expensive, young, high prospect. You've got short-term options in the like of Munoz at Palace. You've got a homegrown option as well, and short-term with Olaina. So there are loads of different options here. Maybe, I don't know, it's a tricky one. Like there's no Kyle Walker, there's no Hakimi, unless you literally go and get Hakimi. I don't know, Danny, I'll start with you, and then we'll go around the panel. What are you saying here on this right-back situation? What you reckon City should do?
Like I've said past few months with all other signings, we need a needle mover. I look at Wesley, and I'm not really sure he is that. I've watched him now 3-4 times. He's sort of the same profile as Nunes, gets up and down the pitch, very quick, very athletic. But I just don't know if he's better than Nunes at what Nunes does. So I'm largely unconvinced. Of course, the first choice is Livramento, good player going forward, can play both sides, good 1v1 defender. Jed Spence, see, that's an interesting one. I think he's a good player, but no one was talking about him 3 months ago. Is he a flavor of the month? Is my question. But I don't know. I'm not big on Savona. I've not really seen a lot of Fernandez. I'm not even sure if we're linked to Munoz. So I don't know. We'll see.
Not been linked with Munoz, but I'm just saying he's been fantastic. He's been probably the best right back in the league this year.
He's been great. He's very good going forward. He scores a lot of fucking goals.
More of a right wing back though, in Munoz. I'm not sure whether it'd work in a back four for us. Like yeah. He gets a lot of that space playing with a back three.
The thing is, though, Jay, bro, I think our fullbacks are more like wing backs because we have that much of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you.
I think it's hard to see Pep going forward with both attacking fullbacks. So like we've not really seen that from him, have we? It's usually where he'll have a left wing back and then the other three will drop into a back three, or a right wing back and then likewise the other three would then drop into a back three. I think it's hard to see him kind of moving forward with two attacking fullbacks. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it, and hopefully with the likes of Rodri there next season, who we've not had this year, he'll be more like open to it. Maybe he could kind of drop into just in front of those two centre backs. But yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it, with attacking fullbacks, whether he'll go with both of them or just the one of them.
I think it'll be I personally think they'll end up just getting Wesley, because I just think that he's the one who's been linked with like more other than Livramento, who's sort of like ramped up in the last month or two. It's been like pretty much Wesley's been the guy, hasn't he, for the last like 3 months that we've been linked with. And I think also he's a cheaper option. I think we'll try for Livramento. Newcastle will ask for silly money because obviously they got Champions League football, which isn't ideal. And we just won't do it. And I think that I personally think that Livramento is the Walker-esque option that's available to us. He's homegrown. For me, he's one of the best fullbacks in the league, if not the best fullback. He can play both. He can play both sides, which is great for sort of the utility that Pep loves from all of his players. And obviously helps you have cover if if you get injuries on the other side. And I just think that it's going to be a situation where we won't. I'd personally go as high as like 80. Maybe even
the fee just feels
million.
Illegal, doesn't it? What they're asking for.
But if he's going to be the guy who you have for the next 8-9 years,
I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
Eventually, you just don't care how much that is.
And you've got to look at the other three signings that we've made and think to yourself, these are all probably like 60-odd million pound players that we're saving like 30 million pound each on. So if you can kind of balance it out that way, it kind of makes you feel a little bit better about overspending.
If you look at it as getting all those players, let's say we do go to 80 for Livramento, for example.
Because we have underpaid for those.
If you look at it getting all the players that we've got in currently, plus Livramento for under 200 mil, I think the club will just be happy with that as like an overall package and just
like 50 mil each. You can look at it as, can't you?
And I think that, and I personally just think that would be, I'd be fine with that. But I don't think the club would be. I think they'd probably just look at 80. I think they'd look at anything over that sort of 70 million valuation that was sort of being rumoured a few weeks ago, and they just go, nah. And I don't think Newcastle would accept 70 million because they've obviously got Champions League football, so don't necessarily need the same kind of money. If you said before, LB, that they've got the sort of the same homegrown problems that we have, then they're not going to be willing to get rid of him for anything less than like 85, 90, because why would you? And I just think Wesley's the only other one that we've been sort of seriously linked to other than that. So I think,
and if you're going to go,
we just get.
if you're gonna go 80 million for Livramento, it just makes me feel like sick to my stomach. Like, why can't we just go and throw 100 at Hakimi or 100? Like, that guy's the fucking best right back in the world by an absolute mile. Imagine how good that guy would be.
It's like
so
you
to
know,
think that would pay that for Livramento when you could go that little bit extra and try and throw
it's the
Hakimi.
iPhone situation where you go in and you start at the 128 gigabyte and then it's like an extra 30 quid for the 256. You go, I'll get that one, and then it's like, oh, it's an extra 50 quid for the one, and then by the time you bought the best phone and you somehow spent an extra 300 quid, and you're like, oh shit, I've ended up with the best phone. I didn't even want the best phone, because that's what they do. But that's the thing, if you're spending like 70, 80 million, it's like you might as well test the waters with Hakimi. Do you know what I mean? I know
you know what,
solve the whole
bro,
issue, but
you know what, this level, I do truly believe that, like, they take every million very seriously. You know, I know there's a lot of money getting thrown about, but you see them haggling over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million. So I actually do truly believe they take every little million seriously, whether it's 70 million to 100 million. I think they look at that as a very serious difference. But for me, I wouldn't panic here, because they've got all summer now, lads. You know what I mean? They've done a lot of the rebuild now. I don't think City are panicking. I think they're going to take the time, bide the time, not panic, and make the market know that they're not panicking. So when they are negotiating, you know, they can probably negotiate on their favour. They might even to make Livramento turn and say, look, you know what, I want this move here. And
you know what, as well, can I just add an extra point on the type of right back is, I think if we was gonna get a right back that was attacking, and I've not seen Wesley, but Danny says he's quite an attacking fullback. I just think they would have gone and got Frimpong at 30 million. I know he's like an ultra attacking right back, but like he's available for 30 million. Like they would have just gone and got him. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like
maybe he didn't want to come though.
Priorities.
Nah, I think Frimpong would.
I think signing Wesley would be counterproductive in a lot of ways. Because
if you just wanted an attacking fullback, isn't Nunes that guy anyway? Like,
But
he's not. But the thing about Nunes is that he's not been trained, you know, historically.
As a right back.
As a right back. He's filling in and he's doing decent, but Frimpong has played at right back, or Wesley in this case has probably been playing at right back for a much longer time. It's more natural fit.
I think Nunes is doing more than decent, bro.
I'm not. I didn't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying that's not his normal position.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. I think if you've got, for me, I'd be keeping Nunes as my sort of like attacking right back.
He's as good an attacking fullback as anyone in the world.
Bro, exactly
at the attacking side of the game.
At the attacking side, and then what we need then, for me, we need a more solid all-rounder for like when we play in Real Madrid at home. Yeah. Because with all due respect, I don't really want to be playing Nunes against Real Madrid. So go and get me a more solid right back option, and then you've got your attacker Nunes. When you need to push someone forward, put Nunes on. You want a bit more solid. Then you've got, but who is that guy? Who's that more like? Obviously, if we're saying it's not Livramento, who is that sort of more solid defensive right back option?
I tell you what, though, bro. Yeah, I actually don't think Nunes is a bad defender. You know, I actually think what Nunes' issue is he's just a bit of lapse of concentration.
He's improved.
A silly pass. I actually see this guy making good tackles, like with using his pace to get back, physicality to get his shoulder next to the attacker and kicking it out for a corner or whatever. I think he's decent at defending. I just think it is just that little bit of concentration with the silly passes, man.
You know what?
He could be one of the best right backs.
Just quickly, big up Bevel, man. I know you got to shoot, man. Shout your channel out. I'm going on his channel tomorrow as well, chat. So I'll post it. We'll go on and have a City talk, man. But yeah,
I'll check it out, man. I'll check that out.
Cheers, lads.
Big up to you, bro.
See you, bro.
Big up, Bevel, lad.
Yeah, we're going on his channel tomorrow. Not in my lifetime, so I'll be on there tomorrow. Yeah, no, the thing is though, because you're right, Steve. Yeah, but obviously the concentration you can't.
It's very important, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can't afford for that to go not right in the Champions League.
Is it something that he can work on though? Because if he can work on that, bro, I think he could be one of the better.
Well, you know what, right? If you actually look at his mistakes, Nunes, they're always the same. It's always when he turns, looks at his own net, and passes backwards or sideways.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know why, but that if you actually look, because that's what he did against United, he did it against Wolves, and he did it again in another game. Like that's what you've just got to sit him down. And I don't know if they do this at the club. I don't know. I've never worked at the club. You've got to sit him down and go, right, these mistakes that you made last year, these bozo errors, what we call them, yeah. You did the same thing when you get the ball on the right, you're on the touchline, someone's pressuring you, And I don't know, has he not got his head up? Is he not? I don't know.
It's
But it's always the same.
bro. It's concentration.
Probably
man.
concentration, man. But I think we should definitely keep him, man. Now I think he's definitely needs to stay.
Defensively, he's gotten so much better. He doesn't dive into like fast wingers anymore. Like what was it? Was it Barcola who just completely cooked him? And when we played PSG, he doesn't do that anymore. But my thing is, with Wesley, I wouldn't sign him, and there's 3 reasons why. Number one, I say he's not better than Nunes. Number two, he counts towards your 25-man squad. So if you're going to count towards your 25-man squad, just get an English guy. And number three, just get Fernandes. If you get that Fernandes, he doesn't count towards 25-man squad. You can build him up. When he's 21, just sell a foreign player then. I just don't see how it would make us any better.
In the Champions League, though, you do like he is still one of the 25 that you'd have to select in the Champions League because he isn't homegrown by us.
I tell you what gets me as well, though, lads. Where's the youth team? Like, can we not? Is there not a guy in the youth team that we could give an opportunity?
Don't say Rico Lewis.
I mean, look, Kyle Samuels just had a career.
Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
Kyle Samuel is a good player, but
I'd like to see some opportunities.
Because of where we've been this year, Steve, I don't think we want to be going into
no
the
way
we want to be bouncing back with kids coming in at right back. Do you know what I mean?
You know, sometimes, bro, you never know who's knocking at the door. You know, swear down. You know, sometimes you just never know.
Pep doesn't. He says no to every single one of them.
Yeah.
Where
and I think everything's pointing towards it being an English right back, isn't it? And I think that's why it's probably looking like we're going to end up overpaying for Livramento because it looks like it's going to have to be a homegrown guy.
I think even worse. I think we're going to.
Aina, maybe.
It's going to be Aina. We're just going to do it because it's better than nothing.
I like Aina.
I don't mind Aina. I don't mind Aina as an
option. I think he's utter fucking shit. He's just looking all right in a decent Forest side.
He's not shit, Joe. He's not shit.
He's definitely not City level. Not a chance is he Manchester City level.
No, but he's more solid, isn't it? Like you play Nunes 90% of the games, and then when you need to just like be more solid and not bozo, you just
and
play
defend. Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't be happy with that.
I think if you got Aina, I think that's actually a big plus for Nunes because I think Nunes would start the majority of the games in that situation.
I don't like. Yeah, if he's going to be brought in to rotate for Nunes, I'd still not be happy because Nunes would be starting most games. But I mean, it's better than Aina coming in and being our starter. I mean, if our 2 right backs are Aina and Nunes, that's a real weakness. I mean, I
moved the needle at all in that case.
I know we've won titles with like Delph and Zinchenko at left back. But I think that I still think you cannot have a serious team rebuild and then end up going into the season with Aina and Nunes being your right back.
I think that's just a realistic option in it compared to spending the 80 million on Liverpool.
Yeah, that would
be the needle mover. But if that wasn't going to happen, then the next probably best option for a cheaper price and being homegrown as well would be Aina. And I don't think that's a terrible thing. I've seen him have great defensive performances this year. Not Forest have built their entire success this year on having a solid defence, which he's been key to. And I mean, I've seen him pocket our fucking wingers every time we've played them this season, most of the time. So.
But then the thing is, it's like if it kind of comes down to the thing that LB's been saying for ages about our signings. Like, say it's Aina, and like you have to pay 15-20 million to get him from Forest, and he's like a 28, 29-year-old player who we're going to have for like 2 or 3 years. Why not just take that 10-15 mil and just add it on to whatever you would have paid?
It's just another body in the squad, though, innit? And there is guys in this team still that I wouldn't mind even seeing at right back next season, like your Cousinovs, who I would love to see have a go at fullback as well as centre back. The pace that guy's got, I think he could easily fill in there as a right back, dropping into a back 3 in some games. Obviously, people have talked about Akanji. I don't want to see him in centre-back next year, so if he is going to stay, I want it to be more of a backup right-back, more so than a centre-back. So we do have options there if we don't want to spend the 70-80 million, like you said.
I'd be happy with a Akanji there, but I genuinely think that the Kusanov thing's really fucking like weird, because like I think the only reason why people want to see him at right-back is he's got pace. Like I don't think like... I know that he's got like some...
I thought he was good there though when he did play there.
He's against Vinny Junior and he did all right.
Yeah, I think he did great against Vinny Junior.
But that's because his job was purely to defend. But our right backs 9 times out of 10 have to be good on the ball, have to be really like technical, have to be able to be good passing and playing forwards, backwards, sideways, doing the whole lot. And I don't think and look, Kusanov could do that. It could be great at that. But I've seen absolutely nothing to suggest that he can. And I don't want to just go into it. I would not be happy going into a season with just banking on Kusanov turning into a decent right back over the course of the
But
year.
is that not again? So you play Nunes when you need an attacking.
No,
right
but
back,
yeah, I'm not saying make him the right back. I'm saying
Yeah.
if you did bring an Ait-Nouri in for 15, 20 million, whatever it was, then it's just another body in where you can think about having Ait-Nouri there, Nunes there for certain games where we need to attack a little bit more, Kusanov in certain games where you know you're playing against a rapid techie winger. Do you know what I mean? We've at least got options then.
In that case, instead of an Ait-Nouri, then I would just, as you said, just put a Kanji right back in some games. We've got plenty of centre backs. Like, just keep the centre backs and just just tell a Kanji, like, right, your game time is going to be restricted to covering right back when we have a game where we don't want Nunes to be there and we want to maybe let
you have to tell him he can't go forward at all.
I'd personally much rather have a fucking Ola Aina than a Kanji at right back, personally.
No, right, would go all day long, man.
Doesn't bomb up the pitch. Then he bombs up the pitch and puts all them crap crosses in, and then
that's what I mean. And Aina's got that in his locker as well. He can put a ball in, and we can see him do both sides of the game as well.
No, but if Akanji stays put, he's a fine player.
But it's a sideward step, but it's a short-term sideward step, and then in
rather than spending 80 mil on Livramento,
you then go and get the next big. Because the thing is, right, I've said this is the point. Yeah, I've said if you're going to go and get Aina, then you need to be looking at the next big right back coming through, which some people are saying it's Fernandes, and there's probably a couple of others. But if the club have looked at Fernandes and gone, we actually don't think he's the guy, or they've looked at Wesley and gone, we actually don't think you're the guy, you're then limited to either three options. One, you pay up for Livramento. Two, you go and get a short-term option and then scour the market for the new up-and-coming right back. Or three, you do fuck all and just run with what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And,
see,
I'd much rather Aina than running with fuck all, personally.
But I'd much rather overpay for Livramento than go for Aina,
which is fine. I'm happy with that option as well. Yeah.
Because I think you can easily justify it as a club as just being happy with the amount of money that you spent that summer.
For four players,
as a package.
For four players, If we spent what is it 113, 104, let's call it 115 just for argument's sake. So that
a lovely number that is.
So it's like 80. So you got 85 mil there to play with to get up to 200 mil.
It's 50 mil per player, then, isn't it?
That's before you've sold a single player, and you're getting Cherki, Ait-Nouri, two players who you probably would have been told if you'd have asked a year ago how much will they be sold for, you'd have said 50 mil for both of them. And then you've got Reinders, who 50 mil is about what we've paid for him, and then Livramento, who you can do that. Then sick. That's fine. I don't actually care how much Livramento costs, as long as the club can sort of say, right, we spent 200 mil, we've not sold a single player, and that's what it is. But I ultimately saying what I would do. But I think the club will.
But it's whether the club will think like that as well.
The club will still be very resistant to spending 80 mil plus on a right back, and I don't think they'll do it unless they're absolutely convinced that he is going to be the guy for the next 8, 9, 10 years, which they should be. Then I don't think they'll do it.
The sad thing is for teams like Newcastle and that, unfortunately, which it only seems to be United that don't have issues with it, is a lot of these smaller teams they're having to sell players to like buy players and that. So maybe Newcastle actually would negotiate down the line if Livramento made it clear that he wanted to move. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, like it's only United that seem to be able to do what they want in the market. Teams like Newcastle,
we needed them to miss out on Champions League, really, didn't we? Because then they might have had that. They might have had that problem. But I think now we've got Champions League.
And Newcastle have bigger players that they'd want to keep hold of as well. Like you think of your Isaacs, your Gordon, your Bruno G's, your Tonales. If we come in and throw money at a Livramento and they need to sell that to kind of level up their PSR or whatever it is, I think they're much more likely to see the back of him and make sure they keep hold of those four big boys, like I've said. So it's probably a good opportunity for us to go in for him. But like you say, it's whether the club are willing to pay that ridiculous money. But I agree with you, Joe. I think if you level it out and look at the four players as a package and see them all as £50 million each, then it's a lot easier to accept.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that they think like that as well. But I don't think they will.
I don't think they would as well.
No. Do you think it also might depend on if Ederson goes? Like, I know, if Ederson decides he's going to stay, then in theory, the only position we need is a right back. In that situation, City might be like, you know what, let's full.
That's the last one we need,
if Ederson goes and then you've got to spend another 60 million euros on Costa, then they might.
Well, that'll change things. Yeah, if we have to suddenly spend 50+ mil on a keeper, then that suddenly turns into a bit of a different different
For
problem.
So it might also depend on what Ederson's doing. If Ederson's staying, then we really need one more player, and that's the right back. So they might just go, you know what, let's just full send it. But if you've got to spend 60 million, then plus another 70 million, all of a sudden it looks quite a bit different, doesn't it? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The thing is, yeah, obviously it's weird because the news that's coming out on Livramento is they're saying they don't want to sell him and he's not up for sale, and they're saying they're going to refuse to sell him. But then they give a price of 70 million according to one source. So you don't do that, do you? You don't give a price if you're gonna refuse. So
they're just teasing us, man.
Yeah, but the price also is very convenient. That it's a price that I think is like stomachable a little bit. It's not like 90 million or 100 million where you look at it going, that is just ridiculous.
It's one of them where they're putting the stall out early. And then they know that it's not going to happen until after the Club World Cup. It probably won't happen until like the end of pre-season, if not like after the season's already began. And then Newcastle can just say, "Look, we put a price tag on him, and we got the most that we could out of Manchester City, and that'll be it." And then
you know what they're going to do
if we do it
after the Club World Cup. Some club's going to jump and pay that 70 million right away. They're like, "Whoa, you're desperate. We're going to drive it up another 10 million." They're going to see how quickly people jump on the 70 million. They're going to say we can charge a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be their final asking price, but then again, I'm not really a financial expert, so
they're just being smart with it, aren't they? They're dangling that carrot perfectly, just the amount of distance away for us to try and have a nibble, and then they're going to just keep dragging it away a little bit further and further until
exactly.
I'd also say as well, right, that like we spent 175 in January, and we just spent 115. So that just what's that? Like 300 million, yeah.
290, yeah.
So, but remember, yeah, if we get to the final of this Club World Cup, we get $120 million.
Yeah, but it's not all going to go into your transfer bank, is it? It's going to be like...
Why not? I think it's has to do what you want with me.
80 mil of it could, though, Danny.
I think we all wish it did, but it's going to go into like renovation, it's going to go into the academy, going to go into the women's team and whatnot.
I'll tell you what, I think it will go in whatever the hell you want it to go in, mate.
We'll see what the ownership does.
Transfer that money straight to Newcastle is what I do.
Yeah.
Send Grealish as well, man. Sweeten the deal with Grealish.
They said they don't want him, though. I think we do that if that was an option.
Or McAtee or whoever. Like they might. It looks like they need a right winger next year. Just try and sweeten the deal a little bit with some of the players that we need to kind of push out the door as well.
I have a sneaky feeling as well, though. If we do get a right back, I reckon you might see Nunes go out the door as well. Because obviously he's not exactly favoured in any particular position, is he?
I think that'd be a mistake.
I
think he'll be the perfect backup right back for me.
No, I think he's a perfect player to have in the squad, but you know, does he want to be just that? Like, I think he's better than that somewhere. You know.
Yeah, I think if you're signing an actual right back who's not homegrown, for example, let's say we decide Wesley is the guy, or we decide this Fernandez is the guy. I just don't think that you can have a backup who is taking up a non-homegrown spot.
It has value as well, Joe. You know, you could still get 40 million out of this guy. You know,
especially when that guy, as much as he's looked good in the last couple of months of this season, he is still ultimately not a right back and has had plenty of moments across the year where he's been utter shit, like seriously bad. And I think he's made some big mistakes that have cost us moments in the season as well. I think that if you're looking at if you've got the squad in front of you and you're looking to trim like 3 or 4 players out of that team, I think Nunes is is easily one of the ones that you can get rid of for me personally.
I disagree. But the top 3 or 4 players to go, Nunes.
No, the thing is, obviously
the unks aside.
Oh right, yeah. I was going to say top 3 or 4 to go is crazy.
But realistically, I think you're only getting rid of like 1 unk, maybe 2, and at that point, you've got to look at the other players. And Nunes for me is top of that list of the other players.
But the thing is, with the fact that this is new for Nunes as well, I see as quite a positive thing. Also, like this guy's only done this job for 6 months. And do you know what? And he has started getting loads fucking better at it. Now, the trajectory of how he's been playing recently to how he started off at this position only tells me that the guy is only going to get better and better the more he plays there and the more he masters his position. Like, I think it's kind of... I know I go back to the fucking derby and I hate him for what he did there. But, like, for a guy that's played there for 6 months to be putting the performances that he has recently... I can only see him getting better in that position in my eyes. So I think the fact that he has only done it for a short time is more of a positive thing because we know that he can probably improve on it as well.
I do get it, but then at that point, then just don't sign a right back. Just accept that Nunes is your right back and you're sorted.
Yeah.
Like
the thing is as well, Jay, I like Nunes in it. Yeah. Ultimately, is Pep going to trust him there for the whole season? I'm not so sure.
He shouldn't. He definitely shouldn't.
I
don't think it would be the end of the world if he did need to be with that.
I agree, and I like the guy. I think he can do everything. Honestly, I think he can attack really well, and I personally think he's a good defender as well. Just that little bit of lapse of concentration sometimes where he can give a goal
Which you'd like
away,
to think would get snuffed out. The more he plays there, and the more he does get used to the position. That's what I think.
For that one reason, though, the mistakes that he does unfortunately make, I think Pep's gonna not have it next season.
I think this has got to be a year we get rid of the bozos, man. It's got to be done. Like it's just got to get rid of
as well, man.
We've had.
It's got a killer cross, bro.
This season, though, that we've seen so much of games and results just be thrown away by bozo moments. Quite a few of them from Nunes as well. And I think that it's just a case where I think Pep just want to eliminate that. And I know that he's looked better towards the end of the season, but that Bournemouth game, that game at home, last game, I know that we were 3-0 up and it didn't matter. But that's what Nunes is capable of. That thing.
He had such a fucking good game that game, though. He was the best player on the pitch before that.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's say it's 1-1 and he does that, or it's 2-1 and he does that, and then that's
what you either you've got to, that's the question. You've got to think to yourself, can he not do that? Can he stop doing the bozos?
I think he can, man. When he's playing in a good team that have the ball so much more as well and are playing with confidence and haven't gone this season struggling to win as many, like fucking 1 win in 14 and all stuff like that, he's going to gain confidence as well, isn't he? And I think he'll trust his teammates.
I agree, Jay. I actually agree, man.
We're making the assumption that he is okay with being a right back long term. Do we know that he even wants that? I mean, again, it feels like that's the only way he's going to make it at City.
I think he is
as a right back.
If he leaves, he ain't going to a top club like Champions League, like contenders, Premier League contenders. Not in midfield. He's not good enough as a midfielder.
I think he's buzzing to play for this club. To be honest with you, I think he loves it.
I think he does as well. Yeah.
I think it's a fair question.
The way he celebrates with the players, little things.
I think he enjoys being here, but what we're saying is, and what Pep basically told him is, you're never going to play in your preferred position. Now, it's one thing when you're here, it's just going to make the best out of it. But do you want that long term? And maybe he does. I'm just saying that there's at least a potential chance that he's like, I would rather go be a midfielder because that's who I think that I am. This is who I believe that I am, and I believe I can play in this. So even if I can't play at this level, I've already won. Do I go someplace else and try to show what I can do in my preferred position?
I think the question that he's got to ask himself there, though, Tarek, is does he want to go and play midfield for a Wolves or an Everton or a West Ham, or does he want to be a right back for Manchester City, who are going to be challenging on all fronts to win multiple trophies every season? I think he'd rather stay at Man City and play right back.
I don't think it's as simple as that, though. It's not like your options.
I don't think he gets
City
in the
or
midfield.
Brentford. Like he can go to.
No, I'm talking as a midfielder, though, Joe. I don't think any big club signs him as a midfielder.
But he doesn't have to go. He doesn't have to stay in the Premier League. Like he can go back to Portugal and be winning titles there and playing in the Champions League every week. He can go to Germany and play for clubs there would love a midfielder like Nunes. He can go to Italy, Spain. There's plenty of Champions League level, Europa League level clubs there that
contending for the Champions League. Contending for the Champions League.
Yeah,
to be playing it right back and challenging, Joe, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's not going to go and win the Champions League as a midfielder at any of those clubs. He's not that kind of midfielder.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
But 99% of footballers have to contend with the fact they won't win the Champions League. I don't think that's a huge.
Yeah,
but he can at City, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So
but he'll do it by playing a position that he doesn't like, and maybe not even doing that every week. If we sign a right back this summer, is that a?
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm choosing right back and Champions League over centre mid and fuck all any day.
Are you picking then as a guy who has trained and played as a midfielder for the first 15 years of your development and life to then be a 20 game a season right back just because you might get a Champions League winners medal out of it and play 2 games
and be challenging on all 4 fronts? 100%.
Trophies, man. What we doing
this This is the
Your favourite player has built a career off winning trophies and being a passenger in teams. So like, what's your problem now with Nunes?
Just our eighth most used player in the treble season. What a passenger! I think it's the.
Hey, that's quite low down the list.
Yeah, that is low down the list.
Yeah, it's starting 11. That I believe that's first 11. I think that's but I think it's the Calvin Phillips thing. It's like, do you want to be a player who's like actually playing every week and contributing to a team, even if you don't win things and don't like have the Champions League winning career or whatever, or do you want to be benched for half the season and have some trophies that you look back on in your career and ultimately think that you didn't actually like? Look at Cole Palmer. He had some things to say about his Champions League winners medal this week, didn't he? Where he said that he didn't feel like he contributed to it because it wasn't because he played like 170 minutes in the whole competition. Like,
I think Nunes would like to show his grandkids. Yeah, he'd like to show his grandkids a Champions League medal potentially.
Yeah. I played midfield for fucking Sporting Lisbon for a season.
It's me Brentford shirt. I played 100 games for him, son.
Yeah.
Then his grandkids go on transfer market and see how fucking shit he was in that season.
But he does play games, Joe. This is why I'm confused because he does play games.
I know. I'm joking at that point, but
he's done some important things for us this season. By the way, he's got a very important goal.
I think he's been one of our better players this year, easily.
I think I started this conversation, but I wasn't saying that he wouldn't or he doesn't or whatever. I'm just saying that I think we all take it for granted that he will, and there's at least a conversation to be had.
Yeah. I'd love to ask him. Get him
if
on
this is the case, Tariq, if this is the case and he wants to go and do that, then he needs to make that shit clear, because he needs to put himself on the market, make himself available. If he don't want to if he wants to go play centre mid for Brentford, then let us know. And then we'll try and facilitate that. Or forget Brentford, AC Milan, or whoever.
It just comes down to whatever the club think of him. If Pep and the club are happy for him to be our first choice right back, then cool. I will let Pep take the wheel on that and be fine with it. But if they want to bring in a right back this summer who is going to be our first choice right back, whether that's Wesley, whether that's Fernandes, whether that's Livramento or whatever, then Nunes has got to go because he's a non-homegrown player taking up a spot.
I don't think the other part of it.
He might want to.
He's not even guaranteed to be in the squad some of these weeks because again, if he's not going to be our starting right back and he's going to be a backup, there's no guarantee. We only have so many spaces, 17, and then I don't know. It's just no guarantees for my.
I'll tell you what, right now, Joe. If you offer me Nunes and a Kanji on the chopping block, I know which one I'm getting rid of, mate. Next year, I'm telling you. If it's about getting rid of a non-homegrown player, I'd much rather keep Nunes as a right back option than a Kanji.
Yeah, but which one do you think Pep is getting rid of in that situation? Is Golden Boy a Kanji or the newly found?
You never know, man. You never know.
Adequate right back.
You never know. Akanji's been injured for most of the season. Nunes hasn't. He's been a constant, and he's been one of the only players that stayed fit for us, been reliable for us, played every single position that Pep's asked him to play. I don't think it's as night and day as you make it out to be.
If you get rid of Akanji, though, you've lost one of our few senior centre backs. Like if we're saying that we're getting, if we're also getting rid of one of Stones or Ake, if not both.
Well, I'm letting you keep Diaz, so Akanji can go. So
we've got Diaz, and then we've got him. So we got him babysitting. Then Kusin, we've got him Gvardiol.
Listen, I don't want to see Akanji anywhere near that centre back position next year. So in my opinion, if I look at him as a right back, I'd much rather have Nunes than Akanji as a right back next season by a mile as well. It's not even close in my eyes. I was at that FA Cup final, mate, watching that guy at right back compared to Nunes, who came in against Bournemouth and was one of the best players on the pitch. And it was night and day the performances that both of those players put in at the back end of last season.
I'll tell you
I know
Jay,
which one I'm keeping.
I certainly don't think Cousinov needs his hand holding by Akanji. I'd put a Cousinov better, but better than Akanji.
I agree. At right back and
I'd argue he holds Akanji's hand. Akanji doesn't hold, Akanji holds his hand. It's the other way around.
Let me come to some of these chats then. It's interesting to see people's views in the chat as well on this, man. I've been reading the comments on screen. Smash these likes up as well, chat, if you've not done so already. Shout out Kelkster says 30 mil plus. What's that?
Baseball reference.
Player to be named later.
Yeah, baseball reference. We love that.
All right.
That's an American thing.
Yeah.
Beef jerky, innit? Beef jerky.
Oh, because there's a low knee going the other way, isn't there?
Jacob, that tweet was wild, by the way.
Which one? Mate, I was nearly chirking off when I seen that announcement, man. It's crazy. Chirking off. Chirk.
Yeah,
I didn't say a slur.
Crazy.
Shout out to LB says thoughts on Anu Martinez and Bellanova, Danny.
Well, you can't sign Arnaud Martinez until January anyway. But Bellanova, I really like. I used to watch Atalanta every week back when we were linked with Ederson.
I thought you said something else wild then.
He was. What do you think I said?
No. Move on.
No.
Move on. We're not doing that.
All right. Anyway, I thought he was very good.
No comment, Your Honor.
Only issue, I don't think he's really ever played in the back four. He also got subbed on against us in the Champions League final. Happy Istanbul Day to all who celebrate. But yeah,
okay,
good player.
Yeah, this LB guy loves Bellanova, man. He never stops talking about him in the chat.
I still want to know what I said.
It was
something to do with Bellanova, I'd imagine. It sounds. The name sounds
like someone else.
Yeah, the name already sounds a bit soft. So
Jacob's my guy, man. He knows my guy.
You go in prison. You go.
Shout out Shebington, man, with 18 months says yes, lads. Hopefully everyone on the panel and chat are doing good tonight. Yeah, man, that's been a cracking show, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Big up to you, bro. Big up to Hi SK. Says, do you guys think we are slowly making a statement? We are not going to overpay for players. Maybe the reason we don't go for Wirtz. I don't think so, because I still think we got rejected by Wirtz personally. But
I disagree, LB. I think we've always lived by.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while.
We proved it with Rice and Bellingham, didn't we? That we kind of
exactly.
And people say that they turned us down. But
Bellingham picked Madrid.
I do understand the argument that they turned us down, but we still didn't want to pay it, though, did we? We still didn't want to go to that level of what the club was asking for.
We did put in the money for. We did put in the bids for both of them, but I think there'll always be like the one player here, the superstar players, where we will go in and we will be willing to pay. But like the Maguires and like the the other players like that, where it's like, look, if you're going to ask us for 80 mil, like look at Gibbs White at the moment, like they're asking for like 80 mil for him, and we've gone like he's not that good, and then we're just going right.
And now he's staying at Forest by the sounds of it.
No, he's been linked to Saudi. You seen that?
Those rumours died real quick when they put that price on his head, didn't they?
Let me just remind you, lads. Yeah, with Declan Rice, we bid 100. What did he sell for? 105. That was the cut-off point for me.
Yeah, but 100 mil is still a lot, though, innit? It's like it's not. That's not. We won't be ripped off. That's just like we're not going to pay an extra 5 mil.
He wanted 105, and we didn't pay it.
But remember, sometimes you have to pay the extra money. Like depends on for example, this summer. Yeah, now funny enough, we've actually got deals, but like. If we would have had to, have overpaid for certain players because of the situation the squad was in.
Yeah. A lot of the time, though, LB, we won't overpay. Like, we will have that cut-off point. You know what I'm saying?
But this is where we have a decision as to how much this player is worth. We believe this player is worth this, and
I believe
we won't pay above that. Now, again, there have been times where I'm like, just pay the extra, but the club has made a decision that this is what he's worth. I'm not paying a penny more than that.
I believe they did that with Wirtz as well. I believe they probably said, we'll give you a oneer again. And they wanted 115 or whatever it is that they paid, or 120. So
he just wanted Liverpool. I think we'd have paid what Liverpool.
I either
disagree.
Either way,
all the reports
say wanted Liverpool, then fucking shame on him, man.
Well, why is he not at Bayern then? Why is he not at Bayern? They'd have paid the money. Why is he not at Bayern?
He's come from a dead country. He's come from a dead country in Germany, yeah, and he's used to living in that dead country of all them grey buildings and all.
What a beers a seat, bro. When we've been Germany, we've had a sick time.
Germany's so no, I agree. The beers are great, but the country's dead, right? And now he's moving to Liverpool, and because Klopp's told him, and he wants to live in another dead place. Well done, Wirtz.
We were in the conversation for Wirtz when we were talking about 100 million. When it started saying 150, because at first it was 100 for us, 150 for Bayern to kind of price them out. Then it became 150 is the price for everybody, and then I think we quickly got out of that conversation. Now maybe you say, well, Wirtz turned us down, or maybe we knew we weren't going to pay it, and so Wirtz didn't really have a choice. I don't know, but once it went from 100 to 150, we quickly got out.
I still think we got rejected, but
there's no way Bayern Munich would have paid that money as well. By the way,
don't make me feel like
which was the whole point. Leverkusen didn't want them to pay it, so they priced them at a point where Bayern was like, okay, never mind.
Nah, big up.
And now Liverpool are paying that price that they put on the head for Bayern.
Yeah,
150 mil.
It's a lot. Big up. Tricks, man, says, can someone explain why we pulled out of the Cambiasso deal when he's a better right-back option than every target apart from Livramento? Just gone dead on it, innit?
Yeah,
Just
man.
gone dead.
I thought they said that they changed their mind, and then now they're coming back the other way again.
You know what I think it is with him? I think it's his attitude, you know, because I think, like, sorry, Danny, I think it's his attitude. Because I think, like, after the January and that, I think his form dips, and then City are looking at it thinking, oh, your form's dip, like, because you didn't get the move you wanted at the time you wanted it. Maybe your attitude isn't right. So maybe that's.
I've heard he's not that great either, Cambiasso. I think he's a bit overrated.
I think he's just like one of these like over technical players, not like Ait-Nouri, like techie. Just
probably
like,
slow, yeah.
Slow, like on the ball. Like he's a good technical footballer, but like, yeah, I watched him and I wasn't like get him in. I was just like, yeah, it's pretty solid footballer. Plays anywhere on the pitch. Pep will
probably just an Italian Rico Lewis, isn't it? Like same mold as him.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the dream.
He can play anywhere on the pitch, man. You know what I mean? He's very two-footed in that, but for me. Yeah, I didn't see anything in the game I watched that was like, yeah. Anyway, anyone got anything else before we wrap it up?
It's been an interesting show, man. It's been a good show.
What about, so we're going to have too many players. What about the Echeverries, the Oscar Bobs, potentially being loaned out to Leon or whoever else?
Yeah, who do you think goes Leon? That's a good question, yeah. Because one of them's going this next playoff.
You know. It's Echeverry. He's the same kind of position as Cherki in it, so it makes
a lot of people have been saying that they've already got a centre attacking mid who's like solid. I can't remember the guy's name.
They have Almada.
Yeah, Almada.
They have Almada and they have Taliafico at left back.
So everyone's kind of saying that it might not be Echeverry because he wouldn't necessarily slide straight into the team and play.
What about Nico O'Reilly then?
Nah, he's homegrown. Like, there's no point in us loaning out one of the homegrown players.
I think Vitor Hayes would be the best option for us personally because I think he's going to see the least minutes out of all of the young players.
I think he's going to go too, but I think he'll probably go to like Girona or somewhere in Spain. Probably
Juma Bar as well.
Well, you got Juma Bar, which I think
that's not a bad option.
Craig said that Ba could either go to, what did he say? He said Lyon, Southampton, or stay at Lens.
I think he'll stay at Lens. That's what his Instagram post indicated when you put it on there.
I think the other two. I think Lyon's a sideways move, and I think Southampton's a backwards move. As much as I like the Championship, I think
don't go Championship.
I think when it comes to,
can't do that, man.
I think when it comes to like, I know you mentioned Oscar Bob there as one of the names, but I think he's obviously a first team player at this point, and I think obviously with him being homegrown as well, like doesn't really help our squad number situation for him. If we loan him out.
So he's been here long enough to be considered homegrown.
Yeah, he's homegrown now, Oscar Bob. Yeah. Did he actually get injured last night or no? Because people said he went off injured. Did he actually go off injured?
I think it was a tactical.
I saw it was tactical, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was tactical.
I've not seen any. There's been no report.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been no sort of mention of an injury, so I'm hoping. But yeah, I think so. Realistically, the players that would go out on loan would be Echeverry and Hayes. They're the two that would go out on loan, sort of from that are in the sort of the first team squad now. They're the two that like are just they're too young. They're not counted as homegrown, so there's no reason for them to be here if they're not going to actually get minutes because they won't be able to be registered for anything. They'll be eligible for the Prem, but not the Champions League. I don't think Pep wants to have a squad in the Champions League that's different to the Premier League. So that's
that's just you get into Chelsea territory, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Conference League.
So, those two teams nailed on to go out.
Yeah, Vita. You know what? Vita Hayes will probably be a good shout there. You know, send him there, and then maybe Echeverry. Like, I don't know what you do with Echeverry, man. Like, but.
Give him some minutes, man. That's what you do, bro. Give the kids some minutes, man.
It's gonna be hard, though, innit, with the new boys coming in.
No, I don't think it is hard. If you're playing this formation with like 3 attacking midfielders, and you're not playing with like actual wingers, and you're just gonna have like 3. I think like
maybe if you can slot him behind Haaland rather than being part of a midfield.
Yeah, he could play off the left and invert. He could play off the right and invert. Like. I think this is the thing when people say like you've got no. If we're not playing with traditional wingers next year that much. Exactly, we're playing with these Marmouche inside and Foden inside and Cherki in the middle. You've effectively got
3 positions you can play.
There's effectively 3 positions that you could play. And then you've got options for Bob. Bob could get on plenty of game time. Like there's loads of game time going around. Nico Gonzalez can play. But obviously, yeah, if you're playing with actual wingers like we were doing this year, then yeah, you're going to be cooked because that means there's only one position. And you've got Cherki ahead, you've got Foden ahead of you.
Well, what does that tell you about Doku and Savio though as well, man? We can't just stick to that thing is with that style the whole season, or they're just going to get no minutes at all, are they? Them two?
I think they're the ones that are in trouble in terms of minutes at the moment.
The thing is with them, though, guys, I don't think it's their fault. I've said it a couple of times. I just think that system's been found out. You know, I think they're both very technically gifted players. I think they're both great players. I just think that wide wingers, touchline wingers, has been found out. So.
And do you know what kind of players they are that are going to be great for us next year is the fact that they're impact players off the bench as well. Imagine bringing Doku and Savio off the bench in the 70th, 80th minute next year if we're chasing a goal and shit like that.
That's what I was going to say. And you get a plan B, right? You get another option, another way to attack. So I think you can keep them around, but
yeah, I think you can have like a situation where maybe. I don't think it would always necessarily be as simple as having all three like of the narrow players.
I'd expect one to maybe play. Yeah, I agree.
And if it's me, obviously, I'm picking Savio to do that on the left hand side because I think that we saw we discussed this a few weeks ago, didn't we? Like, well, you'll listen, Jen. You'll hear it. You'll hear
what a shock! I didn't see that.
We discussed this a few weeks ago that in the was it 6 or 7 games that Savio actually played on the left wing that season. Like his output was actually great, and so it makes more sense.
I'd love to know how the fuck Savio's better than Doku, by the way. I don't know where we got that from.
Well, I think that's where you're going to come unstuck this year, Joe.
The eye test.
We've got Ait-Nouri now.
You need to get them
glasses. The eye test shows me that Savio can't pick a ball straight.
And the fact that we've got Ait-Nouri now as well means that the winger most of the time will probably be playing on the right hand side, in my opinion, because you're going to drop into that back three, so your right back's not going to be bombing forward, and your winger's going to be high and wide on the right, and your Ait-Nouri's going to be the one being high and wide on your left hand side, isn't it? So I think if you're going to have a winger this year, one winger and the rest inverted, then it's going to be on the right. And in my eyes, I think Doku's the guy. So
which is why I think that even though I think that they could be in trouble in terms of starting games, I still think that they're going to play because I agree. I think we're going to get a situation where sometimes maybe when we're playing at home against like relegation teams, we'll play that sort of 2 at the back and we'll just full send it, right? But there'll be other games where he plays a 3 and the right winger is actually a legit winger, and we play with a winger there and an Ait-Nouri as the left, and obviously then
back 3,
yeah. It is quite funny though. We've been saying all season that the problem that the wingers have had is that there's no one there to attack the boxes, and now this season we're going to have people who can attack the boxes, and we're fucking off the wingers apparently. So like it's going to be like it's just these wingers just like obviously just can't. They're just not. If obviously we don't know that's definitely going to be the setup, and that's how it's going to happen. But if it does happen, then that says a lot about what Pep thinks about these wingers. If we're finally getting people who can actually take advantage of what our wingers do, and we still don't use them, then that's like they're just cooked, aren't they? At that point, I think no matter what, like Doku's gone next summer because I just think that this season, like I don't have any faith that he's going to have a season that is a significant enough of a step up from what he's done for the last 2 years to justify keeping him around. But I think that Savio's maybe got another year after this before we make the same decision on him if he doesn't sort of have that step up maybe. But I have more faith on like the technical ability that sort of Savio has away from just dribbling at defenders, that he's got more of the sort of the bit, he looks a bit Mahrez-ish when he has the, obviously nowhere near to the same level or technical ability, but he has that sort of Mahrez-ish look about him when he's on the ball. He's got a bit more sort of technical ability, I think, that is more sort of suited to a Pep system that isn't just wide attacking wingers. If that makes sense.
I hear what you're saying. The only thing that I'd say for me on the Doku one, is just try him at right wing first.
I agree. I think we're at right wing.
Just try him.
This is what we had a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Where it's like we've signed wingers who Savio was a left winger, Doku was a right winger, and we just swapped them for no reason.
And they both just go to the byline anyway and cross with a weaker foot. So why not just get them to do it on the strong side?
Apparently, he was really good last night for Belgium.
Yeah,
and guess where he played? Off the right. He did play off the right, and that's where we bought him as a right winger. So I just think I think with me, next year, obviously if we got Haaland in the box, you're getting Cherki in the box, Foden, maybe Reinders as well. Who knows? Just try Doku on the right hand side. Get him crossing the ball with his strong foot. And listen, at that point, if he can't get the ball to a City player with his strong foot, I think maybe at that point you go, fairs, he ain't got it. But I just think that, like, if we sold him this summer, Joe, right, and a team played him right wing, and every game he was getting crosses in and getting assists, you wouldn't be surprised, would you?
I wouldn't.
I would.
No, you would be. You wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't.
I think I'd be surprised if he finds a striker who he can link with and have that sort of relationship with, where he knows where that striker's going to be and knows how to get the ball to where that striker's going to be. Yeah, maybe I can see a situation where he does that. But I just think so much of his decision making is just byline, head down, cross.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, if he was getting 2 or 3 City players in the box,
he makes him sound like he plays on the park on a Sunday.
I know. I really don't get it, mate. Like,
that's fine, but his output suggests that I'm not lying. So
right, but Joe, you're gonna hate me for saying this. You're gonna hate me for saying this.
Yeah, I know Grealish's output is also shit.
I know. This is what I'm gonna say. Like, your favourite player is Jack Grealish, who has 0 output. So how?
How have we got onto this?
I can't help myself.
I have to speak.
It always happens.
I'm hearing.
I know. I can't.
A two players not allowed
to. On a Sunday at Platfields Park to do that. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
but Doku also does that. Like the fact that none of his crosses are consistent or similar suggests that he doesn't have a set style of crossing. Like there's most good wingers, a lot of good wingers, you know what they're going to do when they get into certain positions and the crosses that they're going to make and the sort of I spoke about this a few weeks ago as well. It was Mahrez, you knew what he was going to do. Sane, you knew what he was going to do. Sterling, you knew what he was going to do.
We're going to go on all night here now.
But it's true.
We can't get into this again.
We can't. But
the point is, Doku doesn't have a set like thing that a set way of crossing.
But you agree that he should be tried on the right just to see.
Of course, yeah.
Because then as well, I feel that if it doesn't work, it backs up your argument 100%.
Yeah,
innit?
Yeah.
But if it does work, then it's like, why
on that, mate? Yeah. On him playing on the right.
Yeah,
I think he's more predictable on the right than he is on the left. Because I think on the left he can go left and right, but when he's on the right, I think he can only go right.
But okay,
did you see his goal last night, Steve?
Yeah,
he come in on his left and banged it in with his left foot.
So let me tell you something.
That's my guy right there. You know?
Let me tell you something. When I did the watch along of him at Stade Red, he played off the right. I was mad shocked at how much he actually does cut in on his left foot. And then last night he done it for Belgium and scored with his left foot.
Scored a sick goal.
And he doesn't look natural at it, and it doesn't look pretty, but he does it a lot. And he I remember that Stade Rennes game. He cut in on the left hand side a couple of times and a couple of decent efforts. So I think you'd be surprised.
And I think the defenders think like that as well, Steve. So from what I seen last night, I think the defenders expected Doku to be all right, because that's what we think of him, in it, that he's only got a right foot. And he didn't even really have to do any skill or anything last night. He just wandered into the middle of the area and just banged it in with his left foot, because the defenders were expecting him to make that move. So
I'm all for it. I'm all for the Doku praise. I'm all for the Doku love.
He showed Macedonia.
Fuck off. You was gassing up a Grealish penalty against Salford City earlier this year. Let's not go there.
I never made a joke, mate.
A Make-A-Wish Foundation penalty.
Hey, listen, I know that Macedonian left back, mate, and let me tell you something,
Alioski played for Leeds,
yeah.
I was going to say, you sound like Danny. Danny knows everybody, and here he is. Yes, he does know him.
The thing is, he does terrify fullbacks. So that is one thing to say about him. Like they don't know what he's going to do, and that's genuinely something that is worth having in your team. But I think he doesn't terrify defenders because they're centre backs. Because they're like, all right, well, we can deal with whatever he does here because it's probably going to be.
Yeah, let's see. I think you're right. I think this is a big year for Doku. He's got to really step it up. Shout out to Snooper. He says, question for the panel. Let's say Wirtz give us the green light. How many think we would have paid 150 million? I think we would have walked away. No, I think we would have paid it.
Yeah.
No.
150. I don't think we would have.
I really don't think we would have.
This is why I'm a believer in that we walked away, LB, because I don't believe City paid that money.
Let me poll it in the chat.
150.
So out of everyone on this panel now, who thinks we actually did walk away on the panel?
Me.
I think both. Can I say both? I think we walked away, and I think he rejected us.
You can't say that, Danny.
Nah, you can't.
You got to pick one.
Okay, we walked away.
Yeah.
Oh, we're outnumbered.
Go on, the boys.
Right, there's a poll in the chat. Chat. I'm interested to see this. What are you guys saying? I think we would have paid it. You know what I'm saying? And
LB, I think that's mad though, bro. I don't think.
Nah, because we knew Cherki was the guy all along, man. It was all part of the plan. Don't you worry.
Man, I don't know. We need this documentary. We need another all or nothing documentary at the end of the year.
They're probably working on it. Of course,
like the English transfer record plus another 30 million. That is an extortionate price.
We played Liverpool.
I'm not one of these people in the chat who's saying, "Oh, we didn't get Wirtz. He's overrated. He's always been overrated." No, you guys in the chat are all putting me over for him for 6 months, so you can't say that.
I'm with you on that, Danny.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous price. I think he's a good player. I think it's a ridiculous price. Is he 120 million better than Cherki? Absolutely not.
No chance.
That's not shameless, bro. You know what I mean? I think he's a brilliant player. He should be one of the better players in the league next season. But I think for what we've done with it in terms of getting them 3 players, is more important for Man City.
100%. Yeah. In hindsight, now, yeah, for sure.
Ben MCFC put it in the chat, but it was the same thing I was going to say. Is I think after paying 100 for Grealish, and yes, we were able to win a treble and all those things, but I think if you pay 100 for a player, you have certain expectations from them individually, and those things aren't being met. And is the issue the price tag, right? Just knowing that that's just weighing on you. I find it hard to think we would have gone for someone at that price, regardless if it was Wirtz or anyone.
I'll be honest with you as well, Tariq, on that, mate, on Grealish. When we signed Grealish for 100 million, I was buzzing, mate. Like, I actually thought, and by the way, I don't hate Grealish to this day. I actually still think he's a good player. I just don't think, for other reasons, it's probably not worked out. But I don't hate the signing of Grealish for 100 million. In fact, I actually commend my club for going out there and spending that money. And I hope one day we do it again.
Facts.
I think Wirtz would have been the guy who we would have done it again for, to be honest. I think it just would have been. It might have been a case of it's 110, 120, and then the rest of it is like no doubt what Liverpool have done, where the rest of it is like, loads of add-ons that just like dead achievable, like he plays X number of games, he wins a trophy or something like that. It'll be stuff like that, but we'd have structured it in a way where we weren't paying the whole thing in one go, and it was all guaranteed to be got straight away. But I think we'd have done it. I mean, I think with KDB going out the door, he was like the most obvious like plug and play like person
baby
to
KDB,
put into the same position. Yeah, and it made so much sense for so many reasons. Now, obviously, this meant that we probably wouldn't have had all the players we've got in now for the Club World Cup. I think we probably would have still targeted, Ait-Nouri and Reinders maybe. We wouldn't have gone for Cherki, obviously, but we'd have got that. We'd have maybe just had to wait till after the Club World Cup and a couple of sales to get those guys in, maybe. But I don't think it would have been a simple case of, well, if we signed Wirtz, then we wouldn't have got any of the players that we've got now, because I think that it would have just been done the other way around rather than before the Club World Cup. It would have been after the Club World Cup. So yeah, I think we'd have done it. I'd have hoped we'd have done it if the option to do it was there, but I just don't think we got the green light from Wirtz.
We'll see. I'm pretty sure if they do one of these documentaries, it'll probably be in there, and we might see something like
it'll come out in a while anyway. Like the usual, like this. It'll be one of those things where Sam Lee will just casually mention it on a podcast in 6 months' time, as if like it's common knowledge, and then we'll all
I always see like some. There's an account on Twitter. I think it's called Quandy, and like, bro, because now and again they'll put the clips of Sam Lee just speaking about something on a podcast, and I'm like, yo, as if that happened. And you said, he'll just drop some news.
He just drops it so casually. Is it like this thing from like 3-4 years ago? As if yeah, this is just common knowledge. And it's like no, like you've never told us any of this before. Like this is actually quite good. This is actually quite good information.
As the famous saying goes as well, though, lads, one door closes, another one opens. Keep an eye in the next couple of years. Certain Jamal Musiala's going to be knocking on the door.
Yeah. You never know. He'll come over with company, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Couple years time.
Sweet. All right. Nothing else, lads?
Lovely.
One more question or comment, I guess.
It's always Tariq, isn't it? Let's go.
Yeah, it's always me because it's only 7 o'clock my time. I can talk all night.
I know, man. This guy is
a question.
He's got all night, man.
We've brought in a couple players that will have to go out or likely to go out for the African Cup of Nations, which is an issue that we haven't necessarily had to deal with for the last couple of years. Is that a concern for any of you? Because these aren't. I mean, Marmoush, Ait-Nouri. These aren't these are players that are vital.
Bro,
vital, but...
so the easiest way to respond with that is left back cover, Nico O'Reilly, Gavadio, Nathan Ake, not a problem.
Yeah.
And Marmoush, you still have Doku, no matter what you think of him. You still have Savio, no matter what you think of him.
And that's what I was going to say. Do we just play those players in that time?
Yeah, it's not an issue. I think Marmoush is probably the bigger loss because you've not got a player that's like, can get the.
And you're probably losing your secondary goal scorer there, aren't you?
That's the one thing.
I'll tell you what I'm thankful for though is that we're not going to lose Cherki. Like his original kind of like, is it Algerian?
Algerian,
yeah. If we lost him as well, then maybe I'd be tricky.
Big up Cherki for choosing France, man.
And then, in that same vein, you'd have Kusanov going to the Asian Cup at the same time of year. But that's
that's not till 2027. That.
Oh, is it not? All right.
No, I checked the other day. Yeah, that's not till 2027.
I don't think Sierra Leone are very good, but eventually Chumaba will be going as well. But I don't think Sierra Leone are especially good, so it's not really a worry.
Yeah. So no, to answer the question, sorry, it's something to bear in mind. Yeah, it's something to have this is happening. Be prepared, but. It's something that we should have more, especially Ait-Nouri, man. You should
remember back in the day. Remember back in the day when Liverpool used to lose
Mane and Salah.
Salah and Mane in the same window. That's
I'll tell you one thing though, Jay,
and they were playing each other in the final.
Yeah, in the final. In the final.
I do remember though when Yaya Toure used to leave.
We used to collapse. We used to fucking collapse, man.
I used to dread it when he used to go. I used to dread it, man.
Does it change your opinion on Ola Aina? Because he's playing for Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
So if you had him as your right back, and then you lose him at right back, you lose.
Not if we're keeping Nunes.
I'd trust Nunes to fill in. Yeah.
For a month, no. No, I think it's fine, man. I think it's chilling. I think Marmoush is a little bit more concerning, but you should still have more than enough. You should have more.
Yeah.
Than enough, man. Yeah. Anyway, good question. Right, we'll wrap it up, man. Chat. Make sure you smash.
I got one more thing.
I got a thing as well.
I'm just literally just kidding.
No, I got a thing as well.
Go on, Danny.
All right. I'm going to keep it short.
LB's dying to go.
Oh, I tweeted this morning. I tweeted this morning, blazing the 2021 team. I think that's our best team besides the treble team. Do you guys all agree with that?
What do you say?
I said, aside from the treble team, the 2021 team is the best team we've had under Pep, the one during COVID. So the long question is, rank all of Pep's teams. The short question is, what's his second best team?
I think the Centurions was the best team.
But that year we got bent over in Europe by Liverpool. We had a soft spot at the back.
No, but that's Liverpool.
Yeah, that Liverpool's just witchcraft in it against
City. The 2021 team had no problem at Anfield. They fucking smacked them up.
The thing is, though,
there were no crowd
in tournament football. Anything can happen, innit, bro? You know what I mean? Like,
and they've got some mad witchcraft over us.
They scored two screamers, and we should have. Is that the one we should have had a handball
offside,
as well?
They had the offside. There was the offside goal as well that wasn't offside when Milner was like playing everyone on.
I'd say the Centurions, and it was sick football, man. Like
it was, so good to watch. I'd take the Centurions over the treble team.
Hey, all those goals we scored, man.
Yeah.
From all over the pitch as well.
I actually also think you could make an argument that the 18-19 team was maybe even better than that.
The only other one I'm
which is the 18-19 or
that was Bernardo and Sterling on the wings with Aguero, and basically just another year of
Fernandinho, Silva and Prime Laporte that season.
When Laporte was in his prime, man, that guy, oh my god.
18-19 was the domestic quadruple that season.
Laporte that year was fucking unreal.
Yeah. That was, and also that game against Liverpool is like the single best, apart from maybe us against Madrid in the treble season. That's the single best game of football I've ever seen.
Do you remember when we used to go to Anfield confident when we had Sane?
Yeah.
Like Sane was just not.
Sane always used to bag against Liverpool as well.
When Sane equalised at Anfield in 17-18, I thought we were going invincible that season. And then we just shipped 3 goals.
Was that the Sane driller, bottom right? Was that?
It was Sane driller near post against Carriers. It was the one we lost 4-3.
You know what it was with Anfield. We used to finish like 2-2 a few times, didn't it? Where we just we should have fucking beat them.
We should have beat them a few times.
The Mahrez penalty.
Mahrez missed a pen, man, at Anfield, didn't it, to win it?
The one in
I just remember thinking like we was clearly a better team today, and it was at Anfield.
Now we should have won there pure times, but even going back to like Vincent Company did that fucking stupid volley thing. You remember that?
The slice own goal,
like even was it last year when we was winning, or was it the year before when Ake and Ederson decided to turn into a clown act at the back. We was winning 1-0. Everything was fine. We come out within a minute of the second half. Or was it just before half time? Was it just before half time or just after half time? Yeah,
I remember that game.
We was cooking. We was cooking. The first 45 minutes, we were so controlled. We deaded the crowd. It was just class. And then straight away, after within a minute of the second half kicking off, Ake and Ederson, fuck about, penalty, dusted. And it's just like, we've done that but that's what Anfield does. That's what Anfield does. It makes you do stupid.
That's
shit.
why I think
only to us.
That's why
not other teams.
That's why I think us being decent there in the 21 season doesn't count because there was no crowd. Like the whole thing, we had like the whole thing was like, no, it's true. That's psychological. I hate that. I hate the magical nights at Anfield shite. But we shit ourselves in front of that crowd.
You remember when Gundogan skied the penalty in that game? I thought we were going to lose.
Yeah.
I remember LB back on City actually be like, just put it on target. Just put it on target. Oh,
I always say that, man. I hate it when players miss the target. It's unacceptable.
Bernardo put it on target against Madrid, and you fucking went mad at him, didn't you?
No. There's a difference between putting it on target and just doing some shit down the middle with no pace.
I love a chip down the middle. Keepers always dive, man. I think it's unlucky to have your pen saved down the middle in my eyes.
I think Aguero used to have some good penalties, didn't he?
He missed a chip though, didn't he? Did he miss the one against Chelsea?
Against Chelsea,
his final ever.
Did he even need to score that? Was he just pissing about?
Yeah, no, he did need to score it.
No, he did need to score it. Yeah,
we ended up losing.
We just got 1-0 up, and we got a penalty right.
Yeah, we were winning 1-0. If we scored, it would have been 2-0.
2-0, and we got beat.
And then because we got beat, we went into the final, and it was Tuchel's got Pep's number. Tuchel's got Pep's number. So I think if he would have scored that penalty.
They might not have beat us in the final, yeah.
We wouldn't have gone into that final.
I remember letting Aguero off for that. I remember saying, you know what, Serge?
I wasn't. I was pissed
Don't
off.
worry, mate. Don't worry.
He also missed one against Spurs in the Champions League, which everyone blamed.
I forgot that in the 1-0.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
it wasn't perfect.
Did Lloris save it?
Lloris saved it, yeah.
Lloris saved it. And everyone blames Ederson for the fact that we was going out in the Champions League, even though Aguero missed a penalty and then Laporte.
Well, the real issue with that was he brought on Sane and KDB in like the 90th minute. And he played Delph at left back when Delph hadn't played in like 3 months.
We've also been pure unlucky, man. Like they scored the handball. Yeah, if you go back to the Pellegrini game when we played at Real Madrid, you know what's mad? I didn't see that clip of Sergio Ramos for years, right? But there's a clip in that game at Real Madrid, and this was where the away goals still counted. And he handballs the ball in their own penalty area.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been a penalty. We'd have got a penalty, scored it, would have gone for away goals. And I never ever saw that clip for about 4 or 5 years.
I don't think I've seen that.
I remember seeing that.
It's a mad, bro. I remember seeing it and I was like, what is that? And I was like,
his face as well. I think he winks or something, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the keeper comes to collect the ball and I don't know what he's doing. He challenges for the header. He mustn't know what's going on. And then his hand's up there. He handballs it. And I'm like, I've never seen it. I never saw it for years. About 4, 5, 6 years later, I saw it. And I was like, what? As if.
We've been done so many times.
Quick one for the lads here,
Yeah, go on.
Obviously, like the Ballon d'Or conversations and that. Everyone's talking about the wingers in it. I think Vertini's the best player I've seen this season in terms of a footballer.
He's definitely the best midfielder in the world in my eyes.
I think he edges it for me. I know, like obviously, all the wingers get all the talk, don't they?
What goes against him though is he's not been. Has he been starting for Portugal in the
Nations League?
Games?
Yeah, he has in the last couple of games. Yeah,
I thought they'd been playing Neves, Bruno.
Well, Neves started the first game and came off the bench in the second game.
Was it? So they swapped him.
Yeah.
I just thought that might have gone against him a bit if he didn't. I
tell you what, good shout by.
I think Nuno Mendes, man. I agree.
I seen that LB, and
he was the best player. He was the best player in the Nations League final the other night, and he was the best player in the Champions League final, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I won't put it. But can you give a left back a Ballon d'Or? Is the question.
Why not, man?
I think it's going to be. I think it'll just be fucking Doué because he scored a fucking hat trick in the final.
It can't be Doué. He's not played enough though.
I'm not saying this because I think he's good. I'm saying it's because like people who vote in this are journalists from countries that don't watch many games outside the Champions League. Whoever plays well in the Champions League final is probably going to be very high in the Ballon d'Or rankings.
when you
He's not contributed though to the league.
Doué's going to be top 10 easy. It's going to be like just because of the Champions League final performance.
I genuinely don't even think he'll be top 10. I don't think he'll be top 10. I promise you.
No, don't look up 2021 Ballon d'Or voting. There were journalists from like Kazakhstan voting for.
I like Dembele, by the way. I don't think Yamal's ready for it yet, lads. I don't think Yamal's ready.
But I think he will get it.
I think Yamal, when you watch him play, it's hard to tell me he's not ready for it because he does everything you can need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yamal is the best player in the world. He just hasn't had the Champions League or the Nations League to back it up. Unfortunately,
he is the best player in the world.
He is the best player in the world, I think.
Has he had the best year? Probably not Dembele.
I don't think he's the best winger in the world. I don't think.
Oh, come on, Steve.
He absolutely is.
No, Rafinha.
I would pay 150 for him.
Who's a better winger than him?
Take my money.
Rafinha's better.
Rafinha's better than Yamal.
I think Rafinha's better than Yamal.
No way, bro. No.
I think Rafinha's had a better season. Rafinha.
No, that's a big L.
He's had a better season, but he's not a better player.
If Yamal was 27, would you be saying the same thing?
It's Rafinha's not better than Yamal.
Take age
out. You man are glazing. You man are glazing because he's a kid.
Have you not watched Yamal, bro? He's fucking sick.
No, I've watched Yamal. But
he's so
you're
sick.
Saying this because he's 17. If he was 27,
no,
he goes past like anyone better and makes the final decision in the final third better than anyone in the world, man.
No,
so good.
Listen, he's got a great hight reel. That's what he is.
And he turns up in big games as well. His record in big games is sick. His goal and assist record,
bro.
When it
I
matters.
don't think he's had the best year, but I think he's the best player.
Well, there's no way Rafinha is better than Yamal.
The best year.
Rafinha is better than Yamal.
No way, man. There's no way.
I'm
shocked by that.
You're gonna live to regret that because next season, bro,
it's gonna be clipped everywhere.
The thing is, not this season. Lamine Yamal will be that guy. He will be the best player.
Yes, agreed.
But I think he's already the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world.
For me, here's another one for you. Mbappe will always be better than Lamine Yamal for me. Mbappe.
Hey, have a fucking word with him then, ref! Hey!
He's already not better. He's already not better.
Hey, wherever that guy goes, he makes his team lose. Wherever that guy goes, he makes his team lose.
Mbappe's a better player, mate.
Except for World Cup.
Okay, do we all agree? Top 3 for Ballon d'Ors, all PSG players. My Ballon d'Or poll.
No, I don't agree with that.
No, I think Yamal gets in the top.
Yamal's top 3.
Maybe Yamal. But
Yamal, Dembele,
and Vitinha.
Mbappe.
And Vitinha.
I think Mbappe will get top 3.
He's got 50 goals or something like that.
But he's got 50 goals, but also like you saw it with the Messi and Ronaldo era. So many of these guys just vote off name. So many people.
He's won fuck all though. He's done nothing.
I'm not saying he has. I'm saying he's the most well-known footballer in the world.
Joe's saying that he doesn't necessarily agree with it. He's saying that will happen because
I
hear that.
Because
but I say Vitinha because remember Jorginho, he was the linchpin in the Chelsea team and the linchpin in the Italian team. They're going to put him there just because of that.
Yeah, maybe.
It's Jorginho. Jorginho.
I think Dembele and Yamal 100% should be in the top.
I tell you another fantastic winger, by the way. Elise. I'm not comparing him to. I'm not saying he's the.
Yeah, Elise,
man. He's fucking silly with it, bro.
Yeah, imagine if he'd been available for 30 mil a few years ago.
Elise is silly with it. I remember that take from Martin, saying like, what?
when he was at Reading, he used to play attacking midfield. I want to see him down the middle again one day because I think
he's so good, man, and he's homegrown as well. We properly missed out there, man. That's a major L there.
Absolute baller, bro.
Anyways, we could keep going all night, so we'll wrap it up, man. Shout Angel says, "LB, I missed the stream. What's your opinion then? Did we pull out of Wirtz because it was
pause?
Yo, where's this guy?
You got in prison.
Oh my goodness! I just realized. Wow,
bro, this guy, man, with the chat is crazy, bro. Honestly, that's the worst one you've ever done, though, mate. I'll be real. You're getting to the extreme level now. You're getting to the extreme level. Man. It's been a class show, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, man. If you did, do us a favor, man. Smash a like on the stream, innit? We've got 720 likes. Let's get them up to 800 before we wrap it up. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. Shout out Bevel, obviously. 1,000, man. Yeah, big up, man. Big up to Bevel who was on earlier on. Not in My Lifetime podcast. Make sure you subscribed. Obviously, Tariq, man, tell them where you're at, bro.
Oh man, I stream with Shades of Blue podcast at Shades of Blue NW. Bunch of US based City fans, just talking all things City.
Nah, big up, man. And obviously, Joe's got a City Ramble podcast, daily podcast on there.
Great podcast.
So make sure you that's a good podcast, man. Make sure you guys checking that out. All the podcast apps, daily podcasts, and all that stuff. So, and Amos is on that as well. He comes on the Monday show. Right, before we go, we'll check the poll. What happened? Did we Wirtz reject us or did we walk away? Very, very split. 55% of the chat are saying that we walked away.
Let's go.
So,
we won,
using
man.
the chat.
We fucking won. Joe outnumbered as
What have you
always.
got coming up, LB, man? What have you got coming up?
Well, did the Algeria watch along today? That was a good laugh. I enjoyed that. And then tomorrow there's nothing on really. No watch alongs on, I don't think. So swerve that. Thursday, what knows? It's
a few of the lads are away in it. Like obviously,
it's your own 21s, isn't it? So
I'm going to do intensive watching of that. That's my homegrown scout.
Yeah, I might watch the because McAtee's playing in that. So
he's the captain, isn't he? Captain.
Yeah, he's captain. So I might watch that. And
not surprised he's like 27 or something, isn't he? Playing for the.
It's so weird because they say under 21, but you can be born in 2002 and play in that tournament, which makes no sense.
Fucking madness.
Yeah, it is weird.
No
yeah, I'll probably do that on Thursday, and then
yeah, man.
I don't know what's happening, man.
Need a panel meet and greet in France when Danny goes there next week. Everyone link up at the Eiffel Tower.
I'm going to be in Croatia, man. Next week.
I've always wanted to go, man.
Hey,
always wanted to go to Croatia. But yeah,
it's gonna be sick, bro.
It's great.
Yeah, sweet. All right, and boys, big up for jumping on. Yeah, big up to Paul P, who's living life. He's on a little vacation right now, so hopefully get him on a panel show soon again. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Smash a like, make sure you subscribe. I think Lee's doing an emergency stream, so we'll raid Lee. Yeah, of course he is. We'll raid Lee. Everyone spam LB raid in his chat, man, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, people.
In a bit.